What if the ancient wisdom of Buddha could transform your modern stress into profound peace, revealing that true serenity lies not in changing your world, but in stilling your mind? Imagine discovering that every moment of anger, worry, or attachment in your life is like a muddy lake, turbulent only because you've been stirring it, and crystal clear when you learn to let it settle. In a world chasing endless desires, what if the key to lasting fulfillment was hidden in simple stories from 2,500 years ago, teaching us to embrace impermanence, cultivate compassion, and awaken the innate peace already within us? The clarity of stillness. The Muddy Lake's lesson. In the ancient tales of Buddha, one of the most profound stories begins with Buddha and his disciples walking along a dusty road under a heavy afternoon sun. Their journey leads them to a sparkling lake, a serene body of water that mirrors the sky and invites rest. Buddha, ever the compassionate teacher, asks his youngest disciple, Ananda, to fetch him some water. Ananda approaches the lake with cupped hands, ready to serve his master. But just as he kneels, village children splash into the water, laughing and playing, kicking up mud and sand. Simultaneously, a farmer's ox-drawn cart crosses through the shallow edges, churning the clear water into a murky, undrinkable swirl. Ananda returns empty-handed, disappointed, explaining that the water is now too disturbed and unfit for Buddha to drink. He suggests they move on to find another source. Buddha, with his characteristic gentle smile and understanding eyes, proposes they rest under a nearby fig tree instead. The group settles in the shade, embracing a moment of stillness amid their long travels. As time passes about half an hour, the disciples meditate or gaze at the water, listening to birds and feeling the breeze. Buddha then asks Ananda to try again. To Ananda's astonishment, the lake has returned to its crystal clarity. The mud has settled to the bottom, revealing smooth stones and darting fish once more. He fills a bowl with pure water and brings it to Buddha, who sips mindfully before posing a key question. What did you do to make this water clean? Ananda replies honestly, I did nothing, Master. I simply waited, and the mud settled by itself. This moment unveils a core teaching. The mind is exactly like this lake. When disturbed by worry, anger, fear, or endless thoughts, it becomes muddy and unclear, obscuring peace and clarity. Yet, most people misunderstand how to restore it. They fight the turbulence, straining, filtering, or stirring more vigorously, which only creates greater disturbance, like thrashing in muddy water makes it muddier. The wisest action is stillness, not judging the muddiness, not forcing clarity, but allowing rest and gentle patience. The mind naturally returns to its original state of peace, just as the lake never lost its essential purity beneath the temporary mud. In our modern world, this wisdom acts as a hidden treasure for handling overwhelm. Daily life stirs the mind with demands, anxieties, and pressures, much like the children and cart disrupted the lake. Racing thoughts aren't a sign of a broken mind, but a stirred one. Peace isn't something to create or achieve. It exists within, waiting beneath surface disturbances. Practices like meditation and deep breathing work because they allow this natural settling, revealing solutions and clarity that emerge when we stop fighting. The story emphasizes that judging or resisting disturbed thoughts prolongs turmoil. Instead, observe with compassion, trusting the mind's innate ability to clarify itself. This applies to stress from work, relationships, or sleepless nights. Step away, rest, and watch as turbulence subsides. Listening to these stories promotes deep sleep and anxiety relief. They invite stillness, letting the mind's mud settle while ancient magic works. Extending this, consider how societal pressures encourage constant activity, like stirring the lake endlessly. Social media, productivity, culture, and endless notifications kick up mental sediment. Yet, Buddha's teaching reminds us that pausing isn't laziness but wisdom. In moments of greatest confusion, stillness uncovers natural clarity, a birthright often forgotten amid busyness. Ananda's initial disappointment mirrors our frustration when life feels murky. His return to clarity shows that time and non-interference heal. Buddha's compassion in guiding this lesson highlights that understanding comes through experience, not force. Tonight, let yourself be like that lake. Rest, be still, and trust your mind's return to peace. This teaching integrates with broader Buddhist principles like impermanence. Just as the lake changes from clear to muddy and back, mental states fluctuate, but essence remains pure. Recognizing this reduces suffering from trying to control the uncontrollable. In application, when anxiety clouds thoughts, remember the lake. Sit quietly, breathe, and observe without engagement. Gradually, like sediment sinking, worries lose power, revealing inherent calm. This isn't passive avoidance, but active trust in natural processes. The story's setting, a journey's pause, symbolizes life's path. Challenges arise, but rest restores. Disciples' gratitude reflects how shared stillness builds community peace. Ultimately, the Muddy Lake's lesson is empowerment. You hold the key to clarity through patient non-action. In a restless world, this ancient key unlocks inner peace, ending suffering tonight. By embracing stillness, you awaken to the waiting serenity beneath all worry and exhaustion, releasing attachments to forms. In the rich tapestry of Buddha's teachings, the story of the broken bowl stands as a poignant reminder of life's inherent impermanence and the freedom found in releasing our grip on fleeting forms. This tale unfolds during one of Buddha's journeys through ancient Indian villages, where he carried few possessions, including a cherished ceramic bowl gifted by a grateful villager whose child he had healed. The bowl, adorned with delicate lotus flowers and glazed to shine like captured sunshine, had become more than an object. It symbolized Buddha's compassionate path, holding rice from farmers, water from streams, and broths from devoted monks. To his disciples, it was sacred, a tangible link to their master's teachings and the love it inspired. One serene morning in a grove bathed in golden light, as the disciples prepared their simple meal, the unexpected occurred. Buddha reached for his bowl, but it slipped from his hands, perhaps due to morning dew or life's unpredictable nature, and shattered against a rock. The sharp crack echoed, fragments scattering with spilled rice mixing into dirt and leaves. The disciples reacted with dismay, gasping, rushing to gather pieces, lamenting the loss aloud. Their faces showed sorrow, as if they had failed their teacher, yet Buddha remained utterly serene, observing the broken shards with the same peaceful gaze he might give drifting clouds. No disappointment flashed in his eyes, no frustration tightened his features, just calm acceptance. After a contemplative silence, Buddha addressed his troubled followers with genuine curiosity. "Why do you look so troubled, my dear friends?" An older disciple voiced their grief. The bowl, given with love and serving faithfully, was now gone. Buddha's warm smile lightened the moment as he gestured to the fragments. "This bowl has not gone anywhere," he said softly. "It is exactly where it has always been, right here with us. It has simply changed its form." He explained that when whole, they called it beautiful and precious, now broken, lost and worthless. But nothing had changed except their thoughts about it. Picking up a shard, he noted it still bore the lotus painting that brought joy, made from the same earth-nurturing plants, shaped by loving hands. The only true change was their attachment to a particular form. This revelation cut to the core of human suffering. We fall in love with temporary forms and suffer when they inevitably change. Change isn't a disruption of happiness, but existence's very nature, bodies altering with each breath, seasons blooming and fading, people entering and departing lives, even mountains transform slowly. Understanding impermanence doesn't diminish love, it frees it. We appreciate sunlight without demanding eternity, enjoy laughter without clinging, receive gifts gratefully while holding lightly, knowing forms shift but essence endures. Buddha set down the shard, brushing rice dust from his hands, content that the bowl served perfectly whole and now teaches release. True peace arises not from unchanging possessions or circumstances, but from finding joy in every form life takes whole or broken, gain or loss. When we no longer need life different, we see its unfolding perfection. This doesn't mean passivity, it means flowing with reality. Consider what broken bowls you might be carrying in your own heart. What changes have you been resisting? What losses have you been turning into suffering by wishing they hadn't happened? See if you can hold these experiences the way Buddha held his broken bowl, with acceptance, with understanding, and with the deep peace that comes from knowing that nothing is ever truly lost. It only changes form. And every form has its own perfect purpose in the great unfolding of your life. Impermanence, anicca in Pali, is a cornerstone of Buddha's wisdom, one of three marks of existence alongside suffering, dukkha, and non-self, anatta. The bowl illustrates how attachment to forms breeds dukkha. Release brings liberation. In daily life, we attach to jobs, relationships, health, youth forms that change, causing pain. Buddha's serenity models equanimity, observing without grasping. Consider a lost job. Like the bowl, it's breaking fragments, old identity, but essence, skills, experiences remains. Clinging causes suffering. Acceptance opens new forms. Or aging, bodies change, but resisting accelerates distress. Embracing reveals wisdom's beauty. The story's morning setting symbolizes awakening. Light reveals truth amid apparent loss. Disciples' reaction mirrors our conditioned responses, grief over forms, while Buddha's teaches unconditioned peace. Integrating with the muddy lake, both emphasize non-resistance. Lake to disturbance, bowl to change. Mind clarifies when still, heart frees when unattached. Meditation cultivates this. Mindfulness of breath observes arising, passing phenomena, training release. This connects to four noble truths: suffering from attachment, Second truth, cessation through release. Third, King Mahadana's generosity echoes holding lightly. Angulimala's transformation shows past forms don't define essence. Practically, identify attachments. What broken bowls cause pain? Journal losses, note clinging thoughts. Practice gratitude for past forms while welcoming new. In relationships, love without possession reduces jealousy, enhances joy. Buddha's bowl, once vessel for sustenance, becomes vessel for teaching, its breaking purposeful. Our breakages, failures, endings hold lessons if viewed without attachment. This wisdom counters consumer culture's permanence illusion. By enduring happiness via goods, but all forms change. True security, inner equanimity. As you rest, consider resisted changes, hold with understanding. Peace emerges, knowing nothing lost, only reshaped in life's great dance. Ultimately, releasing attachments isn't loss but gain, freedom to embrace all forms fully, without fear. Like Buddha gazing at shards, we can view life's fragments with serenity, discovering wholeness in impermanence itself. The power of silent observation. In the profound collection of Buddha's teachings, the story of the worried merchant Virat and the simple clay cup offers a masterful illustration of how silent observation and mindful release can restore mental clarity amid life's burdens. This narrative unfolds during one of Buddha's teaching sessions in a peaceful grove outside the village of Shravasti, where sunlight filters through leaves, creating an atmosphere conducive to deep reflection. Virat, a middle-aged merchant burdened by endless worries, approaches Buddha with sagging shoulders and darting eyes, his face etched with exhaustion. As a successful trader, managing multiple ventures and supporting an extended family, Virat's life appears prosperous, yet he confesses to drowning in relentless concerns. Business risks, family futures, aging parents' health, past decisions, and future uncertainties. These worries follow him everywhere, disrupting work, family time, and sleep, leaving him perpetually fatigued without resolution. Buddha, observing Virat's tense body and rapid breathing with compassionate insight, recognizes a mind that has forgotten stillness. Instead of immediate advice, he reaches for a nearby clay cup, fills it with fresh water from a pitcher, and holds it steady. "Tell me, friend," Buddha asks calmly, "how heavy do you think this cup of water is?" Puzzled by the seemingly unrelated question, Virat estimates it weighs mere ounces, easily held without strain. Buddha agrees, demonstrating effortless grip. Then he poses hypotheticals. What if held for an hour? Virat admits the arm might tire, the cup feeling heavier despite unchanged weight. For a day, painful cramps would make it unbearable. Setting the cup down and flexing his fingers, Buddha reveals the metaphor's depth. Worries are like this cup. Individual concerns may start light and manageable, but carrying them continuously without rest exhausts the mind, amplifying their weight through accumulation. Problems don't worsen inherently. Mental fatigue from non-stop holding does. The solution isn't denying concerns. Buddha doesn't pretend the cup vanishes, but learning to set them down, granting the mind renewal like resting an arm. This teaching emphasizes silent observation. Mindfulness allows us to notice worries arising, acknowledge them, address necessities, then release when carrying serves no useful purpose. In the grove's tranquility, Buddha explains meditation's role: not escape, but wise carrying. Dedicated daily time for present moment awareness, free from past regrets or future fears, provides relief. Many worries shrink in proportion during rest. Solutions emerge from uncluttered minds. Crucially, you are not your worries, you are the awareness observing them. This connects to broader themes. Like the muddy lake, worries stir mental turbulence. Setting down allows settling. The broken bowl's impermanence echoes here, worries often tied to changing forms we cling to. Virat's story highlights how constant mental load creates suffering, dukkha, rooted in craving, tanha, for control over uncertainties. Releasing aligns with the third noble truth, cessation through non-grasping. In application, silent observation transforms daily life. When overwhelmed, pause like Buddha with the cup. Identify held worries, question their utility. Journaling aids. List concerns. Note which need action. Set aside others. Mindfulness meditation, focusing on breath, trains this. Thoughts arise as clouds. Observe without engagement, letting pass. Deep breathing complements, calming the nervous system for clarity. Virat's desperation mirrors modern stresses, endless emails, deadlines, uncertainties amplify anxiety. Society glorifies busyness, but Buddha teaches rest isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Silent observation fosters equanimity. View worries neutrally, reducing emotional charge. Research in mindfulness supports this. Practices lower cortisol, enhance focus. Extending the metaphor, the cup's water symbolizes life's fluid challenges, necessary but burdensome if clutched. Setting down nightly, as Buddha suggests, rituals like gratitude, reflection, unburden. Mornings, pick up only essentials mindfully. This builds mental strength. Like exercising with rest periods, awareness grows resilient. The grove symbolizes sanctuary. Create personal groves, quiet spaces for observation. Bird songs, sunlight patterns remind presence over rumination. Disciples leaning in show communal benefit. Sharing observations reduces isolation. The grove setting ties to anger's silence. Observation creates pause between stimulus and response, birthing wisdom. For desires, observe cravings without immediate fulfillment, revealing transience. Virat's transformation implies practice, yields grace in carrying burdens. No longer crushed, he flows with life's weight. Set down the concerns you have been carrying all day. Each morning, pick up only what truly requires your attention, and only for as long as that attention serves a useful purpose. Your mind, like my arm, will grow strong through this practice of knowing when to hold and when to release. This is the path to carrying life's burdens with grace, rather than being crushed beneath their accumulated weight. Embracing inner peace in daily life. The timeless wisdom embedded in Buddha's stories, particularly the muddy lake and the broken bowl, serves as a blueprint for embracing inner peace amid life's chaos. These narratives aren't mere historical anecdotes, but practical guides for navigating modern stresses like work pressures, relationship tensions, and the constant barrage of digital distractions. By integrating their core lessons, allowing mental disturbances to settle naturally, and releasing attachments to impermanent forms, we can cultivate a stillness that transforms ordinary moments into sanctuaries of serenity. In the Muddy Lake Tale, Buddha demonstrates that the mind, when stirred by external events, loses clarity but regains it through patient non-interference. Similarly, the broken bowl teaches acceptance of change, freeing us from suffering caused by clinging to fixed expectations. Together, they reveal inner peace as an inherent state, accessible not through forceful change, but gentle embrace. Consider the muddy lake in the context of a typical workday. Emails flood inboxes, deadlines loom, and unexpected setbacks like a delayed project or critical feedback kick up mental mud, clouding judgment and amplifying anxiety. Just as children splashing and the cart churning turned the lake murky, these events disturb our inner waters. The instinctive response? To fight back, overanalyze, ruminate, or multitask frantically, which only stirs more sediment, leading to burnout. Buddha's approach invites a different path: pause and rest, like the disciples under the fig tree. In practice, this means stepping away for a brief walk, closing eyes for 5 minutes, or simply observing thoughts without judgment. The wisest action is simply to be still, allowing the mind to return to its original state of peace. Over time, this builds resilience. What once overwhelmed becomes manageable, revealing solutions that emerge from clarity. The broken bowl complements this by addressing attachments that perpetuate unrest. In daily life, we cling to forms, a perfect routine, unchanging health, or stable finances. When these break, a job loss, illness, or argument, we react like the disciples, with dismay and attempts to gather the pieces. Suffering arises not from the change, but our conditional love for the original form. Buddha's serenity shows peace lies in acceptance. Nothing is ever truly lost. It only changes form. Applied to relationships, for instance, we often attach to idealized versions of partners or friends. When reality shifts through conflict or growth, clinging breeds resentment. Embracing impermanence means appreciating the current form while holding lightly, fostering deeper connections without fear of loss. What broken bowls are you carrying in your own heart? What changes have you been resisting? Journaling these can shift perspective, turning perceived losses into opportunities for growth. Blending both stories, daily peace emerges from combining stillness with non-attachment. Mornings often start stirred. Alarm blares, mind races to tasks. Instead of diving in, practice lake-like stillness. Sit quietly, breathe deeply, observe worries without engagement. As mud settles, attach less to outcomes. Like the bowl, view the day as evolving forms. This integration reduces reactivity. Traffic jam. Observe frustration settling. Accept the delay's impermanence. At work, criticism, let emotional mud clear before responding. Release attachment to praise. Evenings, set down the cup of worries, reflecting on changes with bowl-like equanimity. In our modern world, we carry this ancient wisdom like a hidden treasure. Amid consumerism and hustle, where social media showcases perfect lives, attachments intensify, stirring endless dissatisfaction. Yet, these stories remind peace isn't external new gadgets or vacations, but internal, revealed by stillness, deep breathing, a bridge practice, embodies this. Inhale to gather disturbances, exhale to release attachments, mimicking lake settling and bowl acceptance. Such mindfulness lowers stress hormones, but Buddha's insight goes deeper. It's not adding peace, but uncovering what's always there. Challenges in embracing this: habits die hard, minds wander, attachments grip. Start small, one daily pause, noting a broken expectation and releasing it. Consistency builds, like disciples learning from Buddha's example. Community helps, share stories with friends, creating collective stillness. There's magic in knowing we're all here together, finding peace. The grove setting symbolizes sanctuary. Create personal groves, quiet spaces for observation. Bird songs, sunlight patterns remind presence over rumination. Disciples leaning in show communal benefit. Sharing observations reduces isolation. Extending to global unrest pandemics, conflicts these stir collective mud, break societal bowls. Personal peace ripples outward. Still, individuals foster calmer families, workplaces, societies. Meditation before sleep allows days' mud to clear, promoting deep relaxation. Before bed, visualize turbulent thoughts, clearing broken attachments, transforming wake refreshed, embracing day's forms. Ultimately, embracing inner peace daily isn't ascetic withdrawal, but engaged living with still awareness. Like the lake's purity beneath mud, or bowl's essence in shards, our peace endures. By integrating these lessons, modern stress becomes teacher, guiding toward Buddha's profound truth. The peace you seek is not something you need to create. It already exists within you. In every breath, choice, moment, choose stillness, release, and live freely. Meditation as natural settling. In the enlightening narratives of Buddha, meditation emerges not as an esoteric ritual, but as a natural process of settling, akin to the muddy lake returning to clarity, or the broken bowl teaching acceptance of change. These stories collectively underscore that meditation isn't about adding something new to the mind, but allowing its inherent peace to reveal itself through patient observation and non-striving. This is why meditation works, why deep breathing helps, why stepping away from problems often leads to solutions. You are not adding peace to your life. You are allowing the peace that was always there to reveal itself once again. By viewing meditation as natural settling, we demystify it, making it accessible for daily integration, transforming turbulent thoughts into serene awareness without force or struggle. The muddy lake story vividly illustrates this. Just as the water clarifies when left undisturbed, meditation invites the mind to rest, letting mental mud, worries, fears, distractions sink naturally. Buddha's gentle instruction to wait under the fig tree mirrors the meditative pause. No effort to filter or stir, simply being still. In practice, this begins with sitting comfortably, eyes closed or softly focused, observing the breath's rhythm. Each inhale gathers scattered thoughts. Each exhale allows them to settle. Distractions arise like the lake's intruders, children's laughter or cartwheels, but labeling them gently, thinking, planning, without judgment, lets them pass, echoing Ananda's return to find purity restored. When your day feels overwhelming, remember this lake. Your racing mind is not broken, it is simply stirred up. Regular sessions, even 5 minutes, Cultivate this settling, reducing stress as clarity emerges organically. Deep breathing, a cornerstone of meditation, amplifies natural settling by anchoring awareness in the body, preventing the mind from perpetuating turbulence. In the Broken Bowl Tale, Buddha's serene observation of shards reflects meditative equanimity, witnessing change without attachment. Breathing practices embody this. Techniques like 4-7-8 breathing, inhale 4 counts, hold 7, exhale 8, slow the nervous system, mimicking the lake's breeze, calming ripples. As breath deepens, physiological calm follows. Heart rate slows, cortisol drops, creating space for mental sediment to fall. Deep breathing helps. You are allowing the peace that was always there. For beginners, start lying down, hand on belly, feeling rise and fall. This somatic focus dissolves attachments to racing thoughts, revealing the mind's innate stillness, much like the bowl's essence persisting beyond form. Meditation as settling extends beyond formal sitting to mindful walking or eating, infusing daily activities with lake-like patience. Walking meditation, inspired by Buddha's journeys, involves slow steps, syncing breath with movement, heel down on inhale, toes on exhale. Each step observes sensations without rushing, settling the mind amid motion. This counters modern multitasking, where constant stimulation stirs endless mud. Settle into the quietest space you can find applies here. During commutes or breaks, walk mindfully, releasing attachments to destinations, embracing the journey's impermanence, like the bowl's transformation. Eating meditation, similarly. Chew slowly, savor flavors, notice fullness without haste. This reveals how habitual rushing obscures peace, allowing natural clarity to surface. Challenges in meditation often stem from misconceptions, expecting immediate emptiness or fighting thoughts, which ironically stirs more mud. Buddha's compassion teaches self-kindness. When minds wander, return gently without self-criticism. Do not judge the muddiness. Do not try to force clarity. Metta, loving kindness. Meditation enhances this, repeating phrases like, "May I be peaceful," fosters acceptance, settling emotional turbulence. Visualize the lake, turbulent at first, but patience yields transparency. Over time, neuroplasticity reinforces this. Consistent practice strengthens neural pathways for calm, making settling habitual. Linking to the cup story, meditation sets down mental burdens through focused awareness. Scan the body during sessions, noticing tension, worries, physical hold. Then breathe into it, releasing like placing the cup down. This integrates stillness with action. Post-meditation, problems appear proportionate, solutions intuitive. Meditation addresses suffering's cause, craving, by settling desires, revealing non-self, anatta, no permanent I to attach to forms. For deeper settling, guided visualizations draw from the stories. Imagine mind as lake, turbulent thoughts as mud settling, or hold a bowl of concerns, watching it break and reform. Apps or recordings can guide, but essence remains simple. Sit, breathe, observe. Group meditation, like disciples around Buddha, amplifies energy. Shared silence settles collective minds, building community peace. In health crises or grief, broken bowls of loss, meditation offers refuge. Observe pain waves, letting settle without resistance. The tigress story's compassion extends here. Meditate on others' suffering, settling personal turmoil through interconnected awareness. Meditation before sleep allows day's mud to clear, promoting deep relaxation. Meditation as natural settling empowers. No guru needed, just trust in mind's innate capacity, like the lake's purity. Your mind never loses its natural clarity, even in moments of greatest confusion. Embrace this daily settle, release, awaken to peace within, transforming emotions through wisdom. The medicine of silence for anger. In the captivating collection of Buddha's stories, the tale of Priya and the mysterious bottle of water stands as a powerful antidote to the destructive force of anger, illustrating how silence acts as a transformative medicine that dissolves rage before it can cause harm. This narrative unfolds in a village not far from where Buddha was teaching, focusing on Priya, a woman blessed with many wonderful qualities, a generous spirit, skilled hands, and deep love for her family, but plagued by an anger that erupted like a volcano over the smallest provocations. If her husband misplaced his sandals, her shouts echoed through the neighborhood. If her children spilled water during chores, rage filled the home with lingering tension. Even a neighbor's wandering goat triggered harsh words that embarrassed everyone. What made her suffering truly heartbreaking was her self-awareness. After each outburst, shame washed over her as she saw her family's frightened faces and heard the echo of her cruel words. Night after night, she lay awake, promising change, but mornings brought the same explosions, leaving her hopeless. Her husband worked longer hours to escape the tension. Her children whispered and tiptoed, and the home's joy faded into nervous silence. One morning, as Priya sat trembling at her weaving loom after another guilty night, a traveling sage knocked gently at her door. An elderly man with kind eyes and a peaceful presence that immediately stirred hope and shame in her heart. He requested a small meal as a hungry traveler. Priya's generosity awakened. She invited him in and prepared simple food. As he ate gratefully, his calm manner encouraged her to confess her burden. "Holy One, I have this anger that destroys my family's happiness. I love them more than life, yet my words poison them. I've tried prayers, promises, holding my breath, nothing works." The sage listened attentively, then withdrew a small glass bottle of clear liquid from his bag, holding it as something precious. "Sister, this is powerful medicine for anger, but use it exactly as instructed. When anger rises, place 4 drops on your tongue and keep your mouth closed for 10 full minutes. Speak or swallow quickly and it loses power, but remain silent and anger will dissolve." That afternoon, Priya tested it when her son knocked over a pot of simmering curry. Fire ignited in her chest, words forming, but she grabbed the bottle, dropped 4 on her tongue, and sealed her lips. At first, rage swirled, demanding outlet, but with no voice. It lost intensity, cooling to embers. After 10 minutes, she saw the accident as a child's mistake, not malice. "It's okay, my dear. Accidents happen. Let's clean up together," she said gently, surprising everyone. Day after day, the medicine worked miracles. Silence let anger burn out naturally, revealing most triggers as small and manageable. In 7 days, her home transformed. Children laughed freely, her husband returned early, Neighbors visited, drawn by peaceful energy. When the sage returned, Priya greeted him joyfully. "Your medicine is miraculous." He smiled amusedly. There was no medicine, only village well water. The real power was silence, something you carried within. He explained, anger survives on words. Without voice, it starves like fire without wood. Between feeling and expressing anger, choice exists in silence. Wisdom and compassion arise, enabling responses from the highest self, not reactive impulses. Buddha, sharing this with disciple Kassapa, troubled by his own rage, concluded, "Anger is like a burning coal you pick up to throw, you burn first. Silence is cool water extinguishing it before harm." This teaching's essence: silence isn't suppression, but space for emotions to settle, preventing escalation. It links to broader wisdom like the muddy lake, where disturbance clears in stillness, or the cup, set down to avoid exhaustion. Anger, a form of dukkha, suffering, roots in tanha, craving, for control or retaliation, per Four Noble Truths. Silence interrupts this, fostering mindful speech on the Eightfold Path. Applying to modern life, where quick tempers flare in traffic, emails, or arguments, the medicine is practical. Feel anger rising? Pause, breathe, commit to 10 minutes silence, walk away if needed. This gap allows physiological cooling, adrenaline subsides, prefrontal cortex engages for rational response. Most anger lives not in our hearts, but in our mouths. Social media amplifies this. Impulsive posts fuel conflicts. Practicing silence curbs regret, building emotional intelligence. For deeper integration, combine with meditation. Observe anger's sensations: tight chest, hot face without labeling, letting dissipate, like lake mud. Journal post-incident: what triggered? What if silenced? This reveals patterns, reducing frequency. In relationships, silence prevents words that scar, like Priya, transformed homes follow. Challenges: initial resistance, as anger demands expression. Start small, 5 minutes building tolerance. The sage's compassion mirrors Buddha's, no judgment, just guidance. For chronic anger, therapy complements, but silence's core remains universal. The story's village setting symbolizes community impact. One person's rage ripples harm, silence spreads peace. Priya's change drew neighbors, showing transformation inspires. Linking to Angulimala's redemption, silence stops violent cycles. His running ceased in Buddha's presence. Or honey, poison, silence discerns pure emotion from attached reaction. In rest, use silence before sleep, letting day's angers settle. Tonight, bottle water is breath, 4 drops as inhales, 10 minutes observing. Ultimately, silence's medicine empowers. Anger, once master, becomes teacher. Like Priya discovering inner power, we realize peace through pause, responding with compassion, extinguishing suffering's fires, distinguishing honey from poison. In the profound wisdom shared through Buddha's teachings, the metaphor of distinguishing honey from poison serves as a vital guide for navigating the emotional landscape of desires and pleasures, ensuring they enhance rather than ensnare our lives. This concept emerges as a natural extension of handling turbulent emotions like anger, emphasizing that life's sweetness, joys, beauties, and satisfactions becomes toxic only when laced with the poison of attachment. Experiences offering genuine sweetness, such as the joy of friendship, the beauty of nature, the satisfaction of meaningful work, or the pleasure of artistic expression, are not inherently harmful. They turn dangerous when approached with demands for permanence, dependency that ties peace to their presence, or cravings that transform appreciation into addiction. The wise practitioner, through mindfulness, learns to separate pure enjoyment from grasping, savoring honey's nourishment while avoiding poison's sting. This discernment begins with understanding attachment's subtle infiltration. Like a drop of poison in sweet honey, craving contaminates pleasure by insisting it last forever or define our happiness. Tasting delicious food, one can fully appreciate its flavor without demanding eternal pleasure. Witnessing a sunset, be moved by splendor without possessing or recreating it. Cherishing friendship, without clinging so tightly that freedom, the relationship's essence, is destroyed. These examples root in Buddha's broader teachings on impermanence, anicca, and suffering dukkha, where pleasures, being transient, cause pain when clung to, echoing the broken bowl's lesson that forms change inevitably. Mindfulness acts as the key tool for this separation, observing responses to pleasant experiences without interference. When pleasure arises, notice accompaniments, grasping for more, demands for continuity, anxiety over loss. These signal poison mixed in. But receiving with gratitude, holding lightly, enjoying without ownership or addiction, extracts true nourishment. This discernment comes from mindfulness, the ability to observe your own responses to pleasant experiences. In meditation, this translates to noting sensations of delight, then watching urges to cling, allowing them to pass like lake mud settling. Over time, this builds awareness, preventing pleasure from becoming a trap. The goal isn't eliminating enjoyment. Buddha's middle way rejects extremes of indulgence or asceticism, but purifying relationships with it. Pleasure becomes a gateway to appreciation, not suffering's snare, through balanced awareness, receiving gifts without enslavement. The goal of spiritual practice is not to eliminate all enjoyment from life, but to purify our relationship with enjoyment. This aligns with four noble truths, where craving tanha, as suffering's cause, manifests as thirst for sensual pleasures, existence, or non-existence. By distinguishing, we approach the third truth, cessation via release. In daily application, consider sensory pleasures like food. A meal's taste delights, but attachment demands repetition, leading to overeating or dissatisfaction when unavailable. Mindfully eat, savor each bite, note fullness, release without craving more honey, enjoyed, poison avoided. Nature's beauty, a flower's bloom captivates, but clinging to its eternity causes grief at wilting. Observe impermanence gratefully, as in the bowl story, finding joy in the moment's form. Relationships exemplify this vividly. Friendship's sweetness, shared laughter. Support turns toxic with possessiveness, jealousy from fear of loss. Clinging destroys freedom, making connections possible. Practice. Cherish interactions lightly, mindful of attachments arising, releasing them through silence or breath. This fosters deeper bonds, free from expectations' burden, echoing Priya's silence, dissolving anger. Work satisfaction. Meaningful tasks bring fulfillment, but attaching identity to success breeds anxiety over failure. Distinguish. Appreciate achievements without dependency, viewing setbacks as changing forms. Artistic expression. Creating art's joy poisons when tied to perfection or praise. Create mindfully, observe ego's grasp, release for pure expression. Challenges arise. Society's hedonism encourages grasping, advertising permanent happiness through consumption. Counter with middle way. Neither chase every pleasure nor reject all, but balanced reception. Start small. Daily reflection on a pleasure, journaling pure enjoyment versus attached demands. Meditation enhances. Visualize honey, taste sweetness, notice poison's bitterness if clung to, breathe out attachment. This teaching integrates with others. Like silence for anger, pause discerns emotion from reaction. Cups release prevents exhaustion from desire's weight. Angulimala's redemption shows redemption from attached hatred. Beggar's generosity shifts scarcity to abundance, free from craving. For emotional health, this prevents addiction. Pleasures like social media's dopamine hit sweeten, but attachment scrolls endlessly, fostering discontent. Mindful use. Engage gratefully, set limits, observe withdrawals, anxiety passing. In rest, reflect on day's pleasures, distinguish honey savored from poison released, settling mind for peaceful sleep. Extending to compassion, distinguishing in others' joys fosters empathy, supporting without envy. Collective. Societies grasping resources, poison environments, balanced appreciation sustains. Buddha's wisdom here empowers. Life's sweetness enriches when pure. By mindfulness, extract nourishment, avoid suffering. Develop middle way, receive gifts unenslaved. In every pleasure, choice. Taste freely or mix poison. Choose wisely, transform emotions through discernment's light. The pause between stimulus and response. In the transformative teachings of Buddha, the concept of the pause between stimulus and response emerges as a sacred space where wisdom can flourish, preventing reactive emotions from escalating into suffering. This idea is woven throughout stories like Priya's medicine of silence and Kassappa's struggle with anger, where Buddha emphasizes that anger, and by extension, all turbulent emotions cannot survive without the fuel of immediate expression. The pause, cultivated through mindful speech and deliberate silence, allows for a shift from instinctive reaction to compassionate action, embodying the essence of the Eightfold Path's right speech and right intention. As Buddha concludes in the anger story, between feeling anger and expressing anger, there is always a choice. In that space of silence, wisdom can arise, compassion can awaken, and you can respond from your highest self rather than your most reactive self. This sacred interval is not mere hesitation but a mindful gateway, transforming potential harm into opportunities for peace and understanding. The stimulus-response pause draws directly from Priya's experience. When anger ignited over her son's spilled curry, the medicine of 10 minutes silence created a buffer, letting rage swirl, then fade without outlet. Initially demanding voice, the emotion lost power in the void, revealing the incident's true scale, a minor accident, not warranting punishment. This mirrors real-life triggers. A colleague's criticism, stimulus, sparks defensiveness, potential response, but pausing, breathing, counting, or walking away inserts space for reflection. Why this reaction? Is it fear of failure, attached ego? Anger cannot survive without the fuel of words. Like a fire without wood, it simply burns out naturally. Extending to other emotions, like jealousy or fear, the pause discerns root causes, often tied to craving or attachment, per the Four Noble Truths' second truth. Mindful speech, a pillar of this pause, ensures words arise from clarity, not chaos. Buddha's guidance to Kassapa stresses cultivating the interval. This is why we practice mindful speech, why we cultivate the pause between stimulus and response. In that sacred space of silence, we remember who we truly are, not creatures driven by every passing emotion, but beings capable of wisdom, compassion, and peace. In practice, this means observing the body's signals, rising heat, clenched fists, then choosing silence until calm returns. It links to the cup metaphor. Just as setting down worries prevents exhaustion, pausing before speech avoids burning oneself and others, like the coal analogy where grasping anger harms the holder first. Daily application transforms relationships and self. In arguments, stimulus, partner's words, evokes hurt. Reactive retort escalates. Pause. Step back. Breathe deeply, linking to meditation's settling. Question, intent, defend or connect. Response becomes, I feel hurt. Let's understand each other. This fosters empathy, reducing cycles of resentment. At work, email criticism stimulates defensiveness. Pause drafts response, sleeps on it. Clarity often softens tone, turning conflict into collaboration. Like distinguishing honey from poison, the pause separates pure emotion, valid feeling, from attached reaction, destructive outburst, preventing pleasure's sweetness from turning toxic through unchecked impulses. Challenges in cultivating this pause include habitual reactivity, wired from survival instincts. Buddha's compassion acknowledges this, as with Kassapa's shame. No judgment, just story. Sharing for illumination. Start with awareness. Journal triggers, note automatic responses. Practice micro pauses, 3 breaths before speaking. Meditation builds muscle. Focus on breath. When thoughts intrude, stimulus, gently return, non-reactive response. Over time, the interval expands, aligning with right effort and concentration in the Eightfold Path. This teaching extends to societal levels. Impulsive words fuel divisions, social media rants, political debates. Pause promotes thoughtful discourse, healing communities. Angulimala's violent running halted in Buddha's silent presence, the ultimate pause transforming killer to sage. For inner turmoil, like self-anger over mistakes, pause interrupts loops, stimulus, error, response, self-criticism. Insert compassion. I'm human. Learn and release. This echoes the broken bowl. Accept impermanence without attached judgment. In rest. Evening pause, reviews, day's stimuli. Silent reflection lets responses settle, preparing peaceful sleep. Visualize the space. Stimulus as incoming wave, pause as shore absorbing, response as gentle ripple. The pause's power lies in choice. Between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Buddha's wisdom offers practical path, silence as bridge to highest self. Ultimately, embracing this sacred pause reclaims agency over emotions. No longer puppets to impulses, we respond wisely, compassionately. As stories show, from Priya's home revival to Kasapa's enlightenment, the interval births transformation. In every trigger, opportunity. Pause, breathe, choose peace, extinguishing suffering's flames, awakening innate harmony, cooling the fires of craving. In the profound framework of Buddha's teachings, the concept of cooling the fires of craving directly ties to the Four Noble Truths, particularly the second truth that identifies tanha, thirst, or craving, as the root cause of all suffering. This thirst isn't mere wanting, but a deep psychological compulsion to grasp at impermanent experiences, demanding they provide lasting satisfaction in a world of constant change. In Buddha's enlightenment narrative under the Bodhi tree, in the third watch of the night, he perceived with blazing clarity that suffering dukkha arises from this craving operating on three levels: for sensual pleasures, for continued existence, and for non-existence or escape. Craving fuels an endless cycle: desire, temporary fulfillment, dissatisfaction, renewed hunger, trapping beings in samsara, the wheel of rebirth and suffering. By understanding and releasing this fire, one approaches nirvana, the extinguishing of greed, hatred, and delusion, as per the third noble truth. Cooling these fires isn't about suppressing desires, but observing them mindfully, allowing their heat to dissipate naturally, much like silence cools anger or stillness settles the muddy lake. Buddha's realization during enlightenment provides the cornerstone. After years of asceticism and study, he saw that even happiest moments carry dissatisfaction seeds. Pleasure brings fear of loss. Achievement spawns new goals. Love invites separation, anxiety. This subtle unrest permeates existence. Birth's trauma, aging's decline, sickness's pain, death's unknown, and the pervasive impermanence making all conditioned things unreliable. Craving exacerbates this, born from ignorance, avidya, of reality's nature. We chase permanent happiness in temporary phenomena, believing in a separate, controlling self. Tanha's forms, sensual craving for gratifying experiences beyond physical. Existence craving to maintain identity eternally. Non-existence craving to annihilate pain. All stem from misunderstanding. Lasting joy can't reside in fleeting things, yet we grasp, igniting suffering's flames. To cool these fires, mindfulness and insight meditation, vipassana, serve as primary tools, fostering direct observation of cravings arising and passing. In practice, sit quietly, note desires as they emerge wanting, planning without judgment or fulfillment. Like the pause in anger's story, this interval reveals craving's impermanence. It surges hotly, then fades if not fed, exposing its illusory power. Like the honey poison distinction, pleasures are honey, but craving poisons them. Mindful awareness separates, allowing enjoyment without enslavement, deepened by contemplating three marks of existence: impermanence, all things change; suffering, grasping causes pain; non-self, no permanent I to crave for. Reflecting daily, perhaps journaling cravings and their transience cools the heat, reducing compulsive behaviors. The Eightfold Path supports this cooling. Right understanding grasps the truths, right intention renounces craving, right speech, action, livelihood avoid fueling it ethically, right effort persists in wholesome states, right mindfulness, concentration, deepen insight. Buddha's middle way neither indulgence nor denial balances. Acknowledge desires, but don't let them dictate. For sensual cravings, like food or entertainment, practice moderation. Eat mindfully, savor without overindulgence, observing post-satisfaction emptiness to see tanha's cycle. In relationships, love without possession cools attachment's fire, preventing jealousy or loss's devastation. As in the broken bowl's acceptance, modern parallels abound. Consumerism's endless ads stoke craving, promising fulfillment in gadgets or status, yet post-purchase high fades, reigniting thirst. Social media amplifies. Scrolling for validation creates dependency, dissatisfaction when likes wane. Cooling involves digital pauses, mindful usage, observing urges without immediate click. Work ambitions crave promotion for security, but attachment breeds stress. View career as changing forms, effort without desperation. The beggar's story inverts. Giving counters craving scarcity, cooling greed through abundance mindset. Challenges. Cravings feel innate, resistance strong. Buddha's compassion acknowledges, even he searched 6 years. Start gently short meditations, noting one craving type daily. Metta practice cools by extending kindness, reducing self-centered thirst. Community Sangha supports. Shared discussions reveal universal struggles, lessening isolation. Linking stories. Angulimala's rage rooted in betrayed craving for respect. Silence, pause, cooled it, leading to enlightenment. Virat's worries. Craving control over uncertainties, setting down the cup extinguished mental fire. The tigress sacrifice, ultimate non-craving, self-offered without attachment to life. In rest, evening reflection on day's cravings, visualize fires cooling to embers, breath as extinguisher. Sleep deepens insight, subconscious processing release. Cooling cravings fires, yields profound freedom. Nirvana isn't distant heaven, but present peace, independent of circumstances. As dawn broke, Buddha's understanding crystallized, ending seeking. We too can observe tanha, release grip, watch flames die. Joy arises not from gratification, but equanimity, content in flux. This second truth's medicine heals. Suffering's cause known, cure possible. Daily, pause amid desires. Breathe into heat, let cool. From smoldering embers emerges cool clarity, path to liberation illuminated. As Buddha offers, test through experience, verify freedom's taste. In craving's grip, suffering. In release, peace surpassing understanding. Cultivating compassionate responses. In the heart of Buddha's teachings, cultivating compassionate responses represents the pinnacle of emotional wisdom, where silence and mindfulness converge to prevent harm and awaken the innate goodness within us. This cultivation is vividly illustrated in stories like Priya's journey with the bottle of water and Kassappa's confession of rage, where Buddha reveals that reactive emotions, if given voice, amplify suffering, but when met with silence, they yield to compassion. Compassionate responses aren't forced kindness, but natural outcomes of pausing to observe emotions without immediate expression, transforming potential conflict into opportunities for healing and connection. Like extinguishing a burning coal before throwing it where anger burns the holder first, this approach safeguards both self and others, aligning with the Four Noble Truths by addressing craving's role in emotional fires and leading to their cessation. The process begins with recognizing that emotions like anger or frustration are transient visitors, not defining traits. In Kasapa's case, his rage over a spilled water bowl led to harsh words, but Buddha's story of Priya demonstrated silence as the bridge to compassion. By keeping her mouth closed, Priya's anger cooled, allowing her to see her son's accident through empathetic eyes, responding with gentleness that rebuilt her family's trust. This shift from reaction to response cultivates compassion by creating space for perspective, viewing others' actions not as personal attacks but as human errors or sufferings. Instead of seeing her son's accident as carelessness worthy of punishment, she saw it for what it truly was, a simple mistake made by a frightened child. In daily life, this means noticing emotional triggers, a rude comment, a mistake at work, and inserting silence. Count breaths, step away, or simply observe the feelings rise and fall. Over time, this awakens empathy. What pain might they be in? Leading to responses like, "I understand you're upset. How can we resolve this together?" Mindful observation deepens this cultivation, turning inward to witness how emotions distort perception. Buddha's analogy of anger as a burning coal underscores prevention. Picking it up intending harm burns oneself. Silence drops it before injury. Extend this to fear or jealousy. Stimulus provokes, but pause observes the emotion's root, often insecurity or attachment, cooling it with self-compassion first. It links to broader wisdom, like the muddy lake. Emotions settle in stillness. Like distinguishing honey from poison, compassion separates valid feelings from harmful reactions. Practice metta-meditation. Repeat phrases like, "May I be kind to myself in this moment," extending to others. "May you be free from suffering." This softens the heart, making responses inherently compassionate, as seen in Priya's home. Silence not only dissolved her rage, but invited joy, drawing neighbors and restoring bonds. In relationships, compassionate responses heal rifts that reactivity widens. Consider family dynamics, mirroring Priya's. A child's misbehavior stimulates irritation. Impulsive scolding breeds fear. Cultivate by pausing. Silence allows compassion to emerge, responding with, "I see you're struggling, let's talk about it." This fosters trust, as Priya's children laughed freely again. In conflicts, like workplace disagreements, silence prevents escalation. Listen fully without interrupting, then respond from understanding. "I appreciate your view, here's mine." This echoes Buddha's gentle guidance to Kasapa, whose face showed deep understanding post-story, realizing silence extinguishes coals before they burn bridges. Societally, this cultivation counters divisiveness. Impulsive words fuel hatred, but compassionate pauses build bridges. Angulimala exemplifies. His violent reactions stemmed from unaddressed pain. Buddha's silent presence created space for remorse, awakening compassion that led to enlightenment. Modern parallels. Social media arguments stimulate outrage. Pausing before posting, reflecting, does this help or harm? Cultivates responses, promoting dialogue. Challenges include ego's resistance, demanding justification, counter with humility, as Buddha modeled no rebuke for Kassapa's shame, just illuminating tale. Integrate with practices. Daily reflection on interactions where reacted versus responded compassionately. Journal insights, noting silence's role in awakening wisdom. Combine with deep breathing. Inhale to hold emotion, exhale to release, creating internal pause. Group settings amplify. Mindfulness circles share experiences, reinforcing collective compassion, like disciples leaning in for Buddha's stories. For self-directed anger, common in perfectionism, mistakes stimulate self-criticism. Pause observes with kindness. I'm learning cooling inner fires. The cup ties in. Set down self. Judgments wait through compassionate observation, preventing exhaustion. In rest, review day's emotions. Silent compassion for self, others dissolves residues. Meditation as evening pause. Day's angers settle, preparing peaceful sleep. This cultivation's fruit, lives of harmony, where wisdom guides, compassion flows. As Priya's medicine revealed inner power, we discover silence awakens not just peace but love's boundless expression. In every stimulus, potential, respond compassionately. Transform suffering into shared awakening. Buddha's legacy, beings of light, responding from essence, wisdom, eternal, compassion, infinite. The path of generosity and abundance, the beggar's hidden treasures. In the enlightening stories of Buddha, the tale of the beggar Kanthaka reveals profound truths about true wealth, demonstrating that even in apparent poverty, we possess hidden treasures like smiles, kind words, compassionate looks, and helpful hands that, when given freely, create prosperity far beyond material possessions. This narrative unfolds as word of Buddha's arrival in the village of Rajagriha spreads, drawing seekers from afar to his wisdom for relief from suffering. Among them is Kanthaka, known simply as the beggar, a man marked by severe poverty that made each day a struggle for survival. Thin and weathered, dressed in patched clothes and tattered sandals, he carried only a wooden bowl and blanket in a small bundle. His routine was grueling. Rising before dawn from sheltered corners like temple eaves or shop doorways, he wandered streets begging for rice or coins. Some offered pityingly, but many turned away, deepening his sense of invisibility and abandonment by fortune and gods. What intensified his pain was constant comparison, watching merchants count profits, families share abundant meals, children play with toys he could never afford. Nights under stars, he whispered questions. Why such poverty? What past wrong deserved this while others thrive? Hearing of Buddha's transformative presence, visitors entering burdened but leaving light and joyful sparked hope. If he helps others, surely he can aid me, Kanthaka thought, joining the line to meet the teacher beneath a banyan tree. Buddha's simple robes belied a richness of compassion, his eyes seeing into Kanthaka's heart with complete acceptance. Prostrating, Kanthaka poured out his anguish. Blessed One, Why have gods cursed me with poverty amid others' comfort? I work when possible, harm none, yet beg endlessly. Please explain or change my fate. Buddha listened fully, then shocked him. You are poor because you have never learned to give. Kanthaka reacted in disbelief. How can I give with empty hands, patched clothes, a hungry body? I have nothing. Buddha smiled understandingly. This belief traps you. You are richer than you realize, but blind to your treasures. He elaborated. You have a smile more precious than gold to the sad. It costs nothing, yet lights a day. A genuine smile to a child, elder, or passerby offers unbuyable joy. You have a voice for kind words, encouragement to the hopeless, comfort to the pained, appreciation to the ignored. These create abundance beyond granaries. You have eyes for compassionate looks, seeing beyond exteriors to human hearts, valuing the overlooked. This is wealth immeasurable. You have hands and strength, help the elderly with loads, mothers with children, neighbors with repairs. Assistance builds community bonds, prosperity's foundation. Buddha paused, letting words penetrate. You view wealth backwards, thinking possessions precede generosity. Truth is opposite. Giving creates abundance. Sharing from what you have, smile, words, attention, help signals to the universe you have enough, shifting from lack to sharing. Kanthaka's poverty was a scarcity mindset, focusing on missing rather than present. Releasing this, giving from inner abundance, alters outer circumstances. As words settled, Kanthaka felt profound shift, possibilities over limitations, daily opportunities to give, once ignored, now visible. From then, he lived differently. Mornings, seeking service, smiling genuinely, speaking encouragement, helping wherever possible. People responded anew, seeing him as blessing, not burden. Work opportunities arose, friendships formed, circumstances improved steadily. True wealth, capacity to brighten lives through presence, kindness, care not, empty pockets. This story teaches hidden treasures within all, even seemingly destitute. Generosity creates abundance, not the other way around. In modern scarcity, financial stress, emotional isolation, many feel like Kanthaka, overlooking non-material riches. A smile in rushed commutes diffuses tension, kind words in conflicts heal, compassionate gazes affirm, help strengthens networks. These cost nothing, yield immense returns, stronger relationships, opportunities, fulfillment. Buddha's revelation counters entitlement. Kanthaka believed he must receive first, but giving breaks lacks cycle. Applied. Volunteer time. Listen empathetically. Offer compliments. These treasures attract reciprocity. As universe responds to abundant signals, it ties to impermanence. Material forms change, but giving's essence endures, like the broken bowl. Challenges. Ego resists giving without guarantee. Start small, note positive shifts. Meditation enhances. Visualize sharing treasures. Feel inner richness. Community. Share stories like Kanthaka's. Inspire collective generosity. Linking tales. King Mahadana's selfless giving echoes, offering life itself. Angulimala's transformation shows redemption from attached hatred. Beggar's lesson inverts poverty, from victim to empowered giver. In rest, reflect on unused treasures, commit to giving one tomorrow. Shift attitude changes everything from lack's trap to freedom's flow. Ultimately, Kanthaka's hidden treasures empower prosperity, not fate's gift, but choice's fruit. Smile, speak kindly, look compassionately, help freely create wealth beyond measure, awakening abundance always within, reversing scarcity mindset. In the inspiring narrative of Kanthaka, the beggar, Buddha unveils a profound reversal of the scarcity mindset, showing how shifting from a focus on receiving to one of giving aligns us with the universe's inherent abundance, transforming inner poverty into outward prosperity. Kanthaka's story begins with his deep-seated belief in lack. Forced to beg daily, he viewed himself as cursed, empty-handed, and unworthy, constantly comparing his misfortune to others' comfort. This mindset of scarcity, seeing only what was missing rather than what was present, kept him trapped in a cycle of desperation, where every turned back or closed door reinforced his sense of isolation and deprivation. When he approached Buddha, pouring out his confusion and pain, the teacher's response shattered his illusions. "You are poor because you have never learned to give." This wasn't mockery, but a compassionate revelation that Kanthaka's poverty stemmed not from external fate, but from an internal attitude that prioritized taking over sharing. Buddha explained that Kanthaka had been looking at wealth completely backwards, believing material possessions must precede generosity. In truth, the opposite holds. Generosity begets abundance. By giving freely from non-material treasures, smiles, kind words, compassionate looks, and helpful actions, Kanthaka could send a signal to the universe that he was not defined by lack, but by sufficiency. This shift reverses scarcity's grip, where focus on deficits perpetuates them, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of emptiness. The poverty you experience is not truly about money or possessions. It is about a mindset of scarcity that sees only what is missing, instead of recognizing what is already present. Once released, outer circumstances begin to mirror this inner abundance, as people respond to generosity with opportunities, friendships, and support. Reversing scarcity starts with awareness of its subtle manifestations: constant worry about not having enough, envy of others' successes, hoarding resources out of fear, or a victim mentality blaming external forces. In Kanthaka's case, his whispered nightly questions, "Why me?" epitomized this, fostering resentment and blindness to his own riches. Buddha's guidance redirects focus. Inventory inner assets everyone possesses, regardless of bank accounts. A smile costs nothing yet uplifts. Kind words build bridges. Compassionate eyes affirm dignity. Helpful hands forge connections. These acts, when practiced, dissolve scarcity's illusion, proving we always have something to offer. When you give freely from what you do have, you send a message to the universe that you are not someone who lacks, but someone who has enough to share. This reversal aligns with universal abundance, a principle echoing through Buddha's teachings. The cosmos operates on flow, not hoarding. Just as rivers thrive by giving water downstream, humans flourish by circulating kindness. Clinging to scarcity blocks this flow, like damming a stream creates stagnation. Giving opens channels, inviting reciprocity. Kanthaka's transformation exemplifies. starting each day seeking ways to serve. He smiled at strangers, encouraged the downtrodden, helped with burdens. Gradually, perceptions shifted from burdensome beggar to valued contributor. Work appeared, bonds formed, needs met not through begging but mutual exchange. His story illustrates that abundance isn't zero-sum. Giving multiplies, creating communal wealth beyond individual gain. In modern contexts, scarcity mindset pervades. Economic anxieties, competitive careers, social comparisons via media amplify feelings of insufficiency. People chase more money, status, validation, believing accumulation cures emptiness, yet it often exacerbates isolation. Buddha's wisdom counters: reverse by giving what you crave, feel unloved, offer love through compliments or listening, lack opportunities, help others succeed, opening doors reciprocally. It ties to impermanence. Material forms fluctuate, but generosity's essence endures, like the broken bowl. Practically, reverse scarcity through daily rituals. Morning gratitude lists what you have, shifting from deficit to plenty. Then, commit to one generous act. Smile at a cashier, encourage a colleague, offer compliments, track impacts. Notice how giving sparks positivity, eroding lacks hold. Meditation aids. Visualize scarcity as dark cloud, generosity as light dispersing it, feeling inner expansion. Challenges arise fear of depletion, but Buddha reassures, giving from true treasures replenishes as they stem from boundless spirit. This mindset links to other tales. King Mahadana's boundless giving reversed any potential scarcity, offering life itself without limit. The beggar's reversal prefigures this, showing even the poorest can embody abundance. Angulimala's shift from taking lives to giving compassion reversed his inner poverty of hatred. The cup's release prevents worry's scarcity. Silence cools anger's crave for retaliation. Community amplifies reversal. Share stories like Kanthaka's in groups, inspiring collective giving, volunteering, mutual aid creating societal abundance. In scarcity-driven economies, this fosters resilience. Neighborhoods sharing resources thrive over isolated. For personal growth, address scarcity's roots, often past traumas or conditioning. Compassionately observe beliefs. I don't have enough question. Validity. Replace with affirmations of inner wealth. In enlightenment context, Buddha saw craving as suffering's cause. Reversing scarcity quenches tanha, leading to nirvana's peace. In rest, reflect what scarcity thoughts dominated today. Visualize giving them away, embracing abundance's flow. As Kanthaka discovered, true shift changes everything from trapped beggar to free giver, aligning with universe's generous rhythm. Ultimately, reversing scarcity mindset empowers. Recognize hidden treasures, give freely, watch abundance unfold. Buddha's promise: release lack's illusion, discover prosperity always within, flowing eternally. Selfless offering without limits. In the profound teachings of Buddha, the story of King Mahadana exemplifies selfless offering without limits, illustrating how true compassion transcends personal boundaries, challenging even the gods to witness the depths of human generosity that knows no separation between self and other. This tale emerges as Buddha's disciples, Having absorbed lessons on stillness and emotional wisdom, seek deeper understanding of compassion's ultimate expression. How far should love extend, and what does it mean to offer oneself completely? Buddha, settling beneath a teaching tree, shares a narrative from ancient times about a king whose heart opened so fully that his generosity became legendary, not for material gifts, but for the purity of motivation that saw no distinction between his welfare and that of all beings. King Mahadana ruled a prosperous kingdom nestled between mighty rivers and fertile valleys, a realm blessed with abundance yet marked by the king's early encounters with suffering famines leaving children begging, floods destroying village, plagues separating families. These experiences planted seeds of empathy, teaching him that a ruler's happiness means nothing if subjects suffer, that wealth is meaningless amid poverty, and power lies in giving, not taking. Ascending the throne, he vowed, "As long as I draw breath, no one in my kingdom shall go without food, shelter, or care if within my power. My treasury serves welfare, my palace doors stay open, my heart remains receptive to all suffering." Year after year, Mahadana lived this vow with remarkable spirit. Farmers with failed crops received royal grain, merchants robbed by bandits got interest-free loans, orphans were raised as his own, travelers found familial welcome. His generosity's uniqueness lay not in scale but intent. He gave without seeking praise, merit, or self-satisfaction, understanding no real difference between his joy and others. Feeding a hungry child nourished his own heart's hunger. Sheltering the homeless healed universal separation from love. News of this extraordinary king reached the gods' realm, where his selfless compassion sparked wonder. Yet Indra, king of gods, skeptical from witnessing rulers' public generosity masking private selfishness, doubted such purity. Surely limits exist, he thought, deciding to test Mahadana. Disguising as a frail beggar in tattered clothes, weathered by hardship, Indra appeared at the palace during audience for the needy. Approaching the throne, the disguised god walked unsteadily. Mahadana rose, meeting him at eye level, a custom, with all seekers steadying him warmly. "Welcome, honored elder. Sit comfortably. What can I provide? Hunger, rest, whatever in my power, I offer freely." Indra's eyes pierced. "Majesty, stories of your boundless generosity seem unbelievable. Is there anything you'd refuse if truly needed?" Mahadana considered sincerely. "I've never turned away genuine need. Food, shelter, comfort, I give all." Indra pressed. "What if the request challenges everything dear, requires ultimate sacrifice?" Mahadana replied unwaveringly, "I'd make it gladly. My life belongs not to me but all benefiting beings. If death serves greater good, relieving suffering, it's privilege." Indra, voice weighty, "Then give your life. I'm a hungry spirit, satisfied only by compassionate one's sacrifice. Will you die so I live?" Court gasped in horror. Guards advanced. Courtiers shouted madness. But Mahadana silenced them, face fearless. "Of course, if my death ends your suffering, its greatest gift." He prepared, instructing ministers for kingdom's governance, speaking love to family, distributing wealth to poorest. Kneeling ready, his joy mirrored offering a cup of water. Stunned by genuineness, Indra's form shimmered, transforming into celestial majesty, robes of light, divine stature. "Rise, noble king," he said respectfully. "I tested your generosity but learned selfless love's meaning. Never witnessed such compassion, even among gods. Your willingness transcends separation's illusion, trapping selfishness. I require no death, only witnessed heart's purity. Live long, continue lighting the path." Buddha paused, disciples contemplating deeply. This reveals compassion's ultimate truth. Real generosity measured not by amount, but completeness. Mahadana understood lifetime's lesson. Self, we protect barriers. Joy, total surrender, loses nothing, gains everything, realizing no separation from served. Their happiness ours, freedom theirs, ours, peace shared. This selfless offering embodies bodhisattva ideal, vow benefiting all, delaying enlightenment until universal liberation. Mahadana's act prefigures Buddha's sacrifices, like tigress offering, where life given dissolves self-other duality. In application, while extreme, daily echoes. Offer time to lonely without reciprocity. Forgive deeply without resentment. Support strangers without judgment. These limitless offerings cultivate boundless compassion, reversing scarcity by seeing abundance in giving. Challenges, fear of loss, societal self-preservation. Start small, anonymous acts, building to greater vulnerability. Meditation fosters. Visualize offering aspects of self-time, ego feeling interconnectedness, linking tales. Beggars giving from nothing builds to Mahadana's everything. Angulimala's redemption offers compassion without limit, transforming darkness. Community. Societies embracing selfless service thrive, as Mahadana's kingdom prospered through open-hearted rule. In rest, contemplate limits on giving, visualize dissolving them, awakening universal love. Selfless offering without limits liberates. Transcend self, touch enlightenment's essence. Like Mahadana challenging gods, our compassion reveals divinity within, serving all as one. Selfless offering without limits. In the profound teachings of Buddha, the story of King Mahadana exemplifies selfless offering without limits, illustrating how true compassion transcends personal boundaries, challenging even the gods. To witness the depths of human generosity that knows no separation between self and other. This tale emerges as Buddha's disciples, having absorbed lessons on stillness and emotional wisdom, seek deeper understanding of compassion's ultimate expression. How far should love extend, and what does it mean to offer oneself completely? Buddha, settling beneath a teaching tree, shares a narrative from ancient times about a king whose heart opened so fully that his generosity became legendary, not for material gifts, but for the purity of motivation that saw no distinction between his welfare and that of all beings. King Mahadana ruled a prosperous kingdom nestled between mighty rivers and fertile valleys, a realm blessed with abundance, yet marked by the king's early encounters with suffering famines leaving children begging, floods destroying villages, plagues separating families. These experiences planted seeds of empathy, teaching him that a ruler's happiness means nothing if subjects suffer, that wealth is meaningless amid poverty, and power lies in giving, not taking. Ascending the throne, he vowed, "As long as I draw breath, no one in my kingdom shall go without food, shelter, or care if within my power. My treasury serves welfare, My palace doors stay open. My heart remains receptive to all suffering. Year after year, Mahadana lived this vow with remarkable spirit. Farmers with failed crops received royal grain. Merchants robbed by bandits got interest. Free loans. Orphans were raised as his own. Travelers found familial welcome. His generosity's uniqueness lay not in scale but intent. He gave without seeking praise, merit, or self-satisfaction, understanding no real difference between his joy and others. Feeding a hungry child nourished his own heart's hunger. Sheltering the homeless healed universal separation from love. News of this extraordinary king reached the gods' realm, where his selfless compassion sparked wonder. Yet Indra, king of gods, skeptical from witnessing rulers' public generosity, masking private selfishness, doubted such purity. Surely limits exist, he thought, deciding to test Mahadana. Disguising as a frail beggar in tattered clothes, weathered by hardship, Indra appeared at the palace during audience for the needy. Approaching the throne, the disguised god walked unsteadily. Mahadana rose, meeting him at eye level, a custom with all seekers, steadying him warmly. "Welcome, honored elder. Sit comfortably. What can I provide? Hunger, rest, whatever in my power, I offer freely." Indra's eyes pierced. "Majesty, stories of your boundless generosity seem unbelievable. Is there anything you'd refuse if truly needed?" Mahadana considered sincerely. "I've never turned away genuine need. Food, shelter, comfort, I give all." Indra pressed, "What if the request challenges everything dear, requires ultimate sacrifice?" Mahadana replied unwaveringly, "I'd make it gladly. My life belongs not to me but all benefiting beings. If death serves greater good, relieving suffering, it's privilege." Indra, voice weighty, "Then give your life. I'm a hungry spirit, satisfied only by compassionate one's sacrifice. Will you die so I live?" Court gasped in horror. Guards advanced. Courtiers shouted madness. But Mahadana silenced them, face fearless. "Of course, if my death ends your suffering, its greatest gift." He prepared, instructing ministers for kingdom's governance, speaking love to family, distributing wealth to poorest. Kneeling ready, his joy mirrored offering a cup of water. Stunned by genuineness, Indra's form shimmered, transforming into celestial majesty, robes of light, divine stature. "Rise, noble king," he said respectfully. "I tested your generosity but learned selfless love's meaning. Never witnessed such compassion even among gods. Your willingness transcends separation's illusion, trapping selfishness. I require no death, only witnessed heart's purity. Live long, continue lighting the path." Buddha paused, disciples contemplating deeply. This reveals compassion's ultimate truth. Real generosity measured not by amount, but completeness. Mahadana understood lifetime's lesson. Self, we protect barriers. Joy, total surrender, loses nothing, gains everything, realizing no separation from served. Their happiness ours, freedom theirs, ours, peace shared. This selfless offering embodies Bodhisattva ideal. Vow benefiting all, delaying enlightenment until universal liberation. Mahadana's act prefigures Buddha's sacrifices, like tigress offering, where life given dissolves self-other duality. In application, while extreme, daily echoes. Offer time to lonely without reciprocity. Forgive deeply without resentment. Support strangers without judgment. These limitless offerings cultivate boundless compassion, reversing scarcity by seeing abundance in giving. Challenges: fear of loss, societal self-preservation. Start small, anonymous acts, building to greater vulnerability. Meditation fosters. Visualize offering aspects of self-time, ego-feeling interconnectedness. Linking tales. Beggars giving from nothing builds to Mahadana's everything. Angulimala's transformation offers compassion without limit, transforming darkness. Community. Societies embracing selfless service thrive, as Mahadana's kingdom prospered through open-hearted rule. In rest. Contemplate limits on giving. Visualize dissolving them, awakening universal love. Selfless offering without limits liberates. Transcend self. Touch enlightenment's essence. Like Mahadana challenging gods, our compassion reveals divinity within, serving all as one. The joy of free giving. In the profound wisdom of Buddha's teachings, the joy of free giving emerges as a liberating force that unshackles the heart from the chains of conditional love and attachment, allowing generosity to flow purely without expectation of return or recognition. This joy is vividly captured in stories like that of the beggar Kanthaka and King Mahadana, where giving transcends mere transaction to become an expression of interconnectedness, revealing that true fulfillment arises not from what we receive, but from the unburdened act of offering itself. Buddha's guidance to Kanthaka, that generosity creates abundance by shifting from scarcity to sharing, highlights how free giving dissolves the ego's demands, fostering a lightness of being where joy bubbles forth naturally. Similarly, Mahadana's willingness to offer his life without hesitation demonstrates giving's ultimate freedom. When detached from outcomes, it becomes a source of profound contentment, as the heart recognizes no separation between giver and receiver. Free giving isn't about depleting oneself, but enriching through release, where conditional love tied to forms and expectations gives way to boundless compassion that nourishes all involved. The essence of this joy lies in giving without strings, where the act itself generates inner delight, untethered to reciprocity. In Kanthaka's transformation, his initial scarcity mindset viewed giving as impossible with empty hands, but Buddha revealed treasures like smiles and kind words as infinite resources. Once he gave freely, smiling without seeking smiles back, helping without awaiting thanks, joy arose from the purity of the gesture. The act liberated him from lack's heaviness, inviting abundance as others responded to his openness. This mirrors broader teachings. Attachment to results poisons generosity, much like craving taints pleasure in the honey poison metaphor. Conditional giving, expecting praise, merit, or return, creates subtle suffering, as unmet hopes breed resentment. Free giving, however, flows like a river, refreshing the giver through selfless flow, echoing impermanence where holding tightly causes pain, but releasing brings peace. King Mahadana embodies this joy at its peak. His offerings, from grain to life itself, stemmed not from duty or gain, but pure recognition of shared humanity. When tested by Indra, his immediate joyful consent to sacrifice revealed giving's ecstasy untouched by fear of loss, as he held life lightly, like the broken bowl's fragments. The summary of his vow, "No one suffers if he can prevent it," shows joy in free giving as relief from self-centered isolation. When we give conditionally, love contracts. Freely, it expands, dissolving ego's boundaries. Buddha's conclusion: when we hold nothing back, we discover that we lose nothing and gain everything. This joy isn't fleeting happiness, but deep contentment from aligning with existence's interconnected fabric. Cultivating this joy requires mindful practice, starting with awareness of conditional tendencies. Do I give to feel good, earn favor, or avoid guilt? Observe these in meditation. Note attachments arising during acts of kindness. Release them like setting down the cup of expectations. Begin small. Offer a compliment without needing acknowledgement. Help anonymously to savor the intrinsic delight. Over time, this builds a habit where giving becomes effortless, joy its natural byproduct. In relationships, free giving transforms dynamics. Love partners without demanding loyalty's proof. Support friends without score. Keeping joy flows from their flourishing, not obligation. This counters modern transactional cultures, where gifts often carry hidden expectations, breeding disappointment. Instead, embrace Buddha's middle way. Give balanced, from abundance's mindset, avoiding extremes of overgiving that stems from people-pleasing attachment. The joy of free giving integrates with emotional wisdom, like silence cooling anger. Detaching from outcomes prevents resentment if gifts go unappreciated, like distinguishing honey from poison. Pure giving savors connection's sweetness without craving reciprocation. Kanthaka's smiles, given freely, reversed his scarcity, inviting communal joy. Mahadana's ultimate offer inspired gods, radiating peace. Link to 4 noble truths. Craving for return fuels suffering. Free giving quenches tanha, leading to cessation. In the Eightfold Path, right intention supports this. Give with renunciation, not gain. Daily application unlocks this joy. In work, mentor without expecting promotion. In community, volunteer without seeking acclaim. Watch fulfillment arise from impact alone. Challenges. Societal conditioning ties worth to reciprocation. Counter with reflection. What conditional givings caused pain? Replace with affirmations. I give freely, joy complete in itself. Meditation deepens. Visualize offering light to all, feeling heart's expansion without depletion. For global issues, free giving addresses inequality. Nations hoarding resources perpetuate scarcity. Selfless aid, like Mahadana's open treasury, fosters shared prosperity. In crises, natural disasters, conflicts, individuals giving without limit inspire collective healing as one act ripples joy. Community amplifies. Groups practicing free giving, like monastic sanghas, create environments where abundance thrives, mutual support without tally. Families model this. Parents give love unconditionally. Children learn joy in sharing, breaking generational attachment cycles. In rest, reflect on day's givings. Were they free or conditional? Release attachments. Visualize joy as inner spring bubbling unbound. This practice awakens heart's natural generosity, where giving becomes celebration of life's interconnected dance. The joy of free giving liberates from conditional love's burdens, where expectations weigh heavy like unset cups. Like Kanthaka finding wealth in smiles, Mahadana in sacrifice, we discover ecstasy in release, heart unburdened, overflowing with peace. Buddha's path: give without limit, joy without end, transforming self into vessel of universal love, building community through kindness. In the timeless teachings of Buddha, building community through kindness emerges as the natural culmination of generous living, where daily acts of compassion weave unbreakable bonds that transform isolated individuals into interconnected networks of support and shared prosperity. This principle is illuminated in stories like that of the beggar Kanthaka, whose shift from scarcity to giving not only altered his personal fate, but fostered communal harmony, and King Mahadana, whose limitless offerings created a kingdom where welfare was collective, drawing people together in mutual care. Kindness, as an extension of free giving, builds community by dissolving barriers of self-interest, encouraging reciprocity without demand, and revealing the interdependence at the heart of existence. When practiced consistently, these acts: smiles, helpful hands, compassionate words, cultivate environments where trust flourishes, conflicts resolve peacefully, and abundance flows freely for all. Buddha's wisdom shows that community isn't built on grand gestures alone, but on the steady accumulation of small, heartfelt kindnesses that reinforce the truth: we are not separate entities, but parts of a greater whole, where one person's upliftment elevates everyone. The foundation of this community building lies in recognizing kindness as a bridge that connects hearts, countering the isolation bred by scarcity mindsets. In Kanthaka's tale, his initial poverty stemmed from a view of the world as withholding, leading to a life of begging that further alienated him. Turned backs and closed doors mirrored his inner emptiness. Yet, upon Buddha's revelation of hidden treasures, Kanthaka began offering smiles to the downtrodden, words of encouragement to the weary, and assistance to those burdened. These kindnesses didn't deplete him. Instead, they invited inclusion. People, once indifferent, saw him as a contributor, offering work and friendship in return. This reciprocity wasn't forced, but organic, as kindness softens defenses, fostering trust that turns strangers into allies. Buddha emphasized giving signals sufficiency, shifting from me against the world to us together, where community forms through shared humanity rather than competition. King Mahadana's kingdom exemplifies this on a larger scale. His vow to alleviate all suffering created a society where kindness was the norm, not exception. Farmers received aid without shame. Orphans found family. Travelers felt at home. Each act reinforced communal bonds, as recipients, inspired, paid forward. When Indra tested him, Mahadana's selfless readiness to give his life demonstrated kindness without limits, transcending fear of loss. This purity not only moved the god, but symbolized how unlimited compassion builds unbreakable communities. When leaders model giving freely, subjects emulate, creating webs of support resilient to hardship. In such environments, kindness becomes currency richer than gold, as mutual care ensures no one falls through cracks. Daily acts of kindness apply this to modern life, where fragmentation, busy schedules, digital divides Urban anonymity erodes community. Start with simple gestures. A genuine smile to a neighbor brightens their day, sparking conversation that builds familiarity. Offering to carry groceries for an elder fosters gratitude and connection. These mirror Kanthaka's treasures. Costless yet invaluable, they accumulate into strong networks. In workplaces, kindness, like praising a colleague's effort without seeking credit, encourages collaboration, turning competitive teams into supportive ones. Families benefit too. Parents modeling unconditional help teach children empathy, creating homes where openness thrives. Buddha's teachings remind, kindness isn't random but intentional, rooted in seeing others' suffering as our own, dissolving ego's isolation. This building extends to resolving conflicts, where kindness disarms hostility. Instead of reactive anger, as in Priya's story, offer understanding, listen without interruption, respond with empathy. Such responses, born from pause and compassion, heal divides, turning adversaries into friends. In diverse societies, kindness bridges cultural gaps, sharing meals with immigrants, volunteering in underserved areas. These acts affirm shared humanity, countering prejudice with inclusion. Buddha's path shows kindness as karma's positive force. Given freely, it returns multiplied, strengthening communal fabric. Challenges in building through kindness include cynicism. Past betrayals make giving feel risky. Counter with mindfulness. Observe fears, release attachments to outcomes, as in free giving's joy. Start small to build confidence. One act daily. Note ripples. A helped stranger may help another, expanding the circle. Meditation supports. Visualize kindness as light spreading, illuminating connections, reducing self-centered views. Community through kindness integrates with abundance. Beggars giving reversed scarcity by creating bonds. Mahadana's offerings built a thriving realm. Link to emotional wisdom. Kindness cools craving by focusing outward, preventing self-absorption's fires. In Four Noble Truths, it addresses suffering's cause, attachment, through compassionate release. Eightfold Paths, right action, embodies kind deeds. Globally, this counters division, wars from greed, inequalities from hoarding kindness. Initiatives like aid programs build international communities. Locally, neighborhood gardens or support groups exemplify. Shared efforts yield harvests of trust and joy. In rest, reflect on kindnesses given, received, visualize community as web of light, each strand a compassionate act. Sleep nurtures intention for tomorrow's building. The joy of community through kindness is profound. Isolated hearts unite, abundance shared multiplies. Like Kanthaka's smiles forging friendships, Mahadana's sacrifices inspiring realms, we discover giving knits souls together. Buddha's legacy. Kindness builds not walls but bridges, where abundance flows eternally in harmonious union. Angulimala's radical change. In the profound teachings of Buddha, the story of Angulimala stands as a testament to the infinite potential for redemption, illustrating that no matter how deep one has fallen into darkness, the light of awakening can penetrate and transform even the most hardened heart. This narrative begins with a young man named Ahimsa, meaning the harmless one, born in a peaceful village where his parents hoped he would embody gentleness and wisdom. For many years, their hopes seemed fulfilled. Ahimsa grew into a kind-hearted, intelligent scholar, beloved by teachers and peers for his curiosity and dedication. He spent long hours studying ancient texts, mastering philosophy, and developing insights that marked him for greatness. His brilliance caught the attention of a renowned teacher at an exclusive school who invited him to join. There, Ahimsa flourished, surpassing older students and impressing instructors with his respect and depth. Yet, tragedy struck through jealousy. The master, feeling threatened by Ahimsa's rising star, spread malicious lies about his character, claiming disrespect, dishonesty, and threats. These accusations, from a trusted source, spread like wildfire, turning admiration to suspicion. Students avoided him, teachers questioned him, and the warm learning environment became cold isolation. Expelled in disgrace, branded dangerous, Ahimsa's world shattered. Wandering the wilderness in rage and despair, betrayal's pain twisted into darkness. He encountered bandits who welcomed his bitterness, feeding it with tales of societal hypocrisy. Gradually, he embraced the monster others accused him of being, adopting the name Angulimala, Garland of Fingers, and beginning a horrific spree, killing travelers, collecting fingers for a necklace, symbolizing his rejection of compassion. For months, Angulimala terrorized the countryside, becoming the region's most feared serial killer. Hiding in forests and mountains, he attacked with savagery, his garland growing to 999 fingers. He vowed the 1,000th would complete it, then he'd kill his treacherous teacher. His actions stemmed from profound suffering. Injustice ignited hatred, amplified by isolation, turning a scholar into a symbol of terror. Villages locked doors at sunset, merchants avoided routes, warriors fled his name. Aware of this lost soul's torment and the suffering he caused, Buddha chose compassion over fear, entering the dangerous forest alone despite warnings. Walking peacefully, enjoying sunlight through leaves and birdsong, Buddha sensed being stalked. Angulimala emerged wild-haired, blood-stained, necklace grotesque, yet Buddha saw beyond. Remnants of the gentle scholar, untarnished Buddha nature shining beneath violence. Filled with infinite compassion, Buddha continued calmly as Angulimala charged, weapon raised for the final kill. Miraculously, though Buddha walked normally, Angulimala couldn't close the distance, running furiously, yet the teacher remained ahead, as if reality bent to protect compassion. Exhausted, Angulimala shouted, "Stop, monk! Why can't I catch you?" Buddha turned gently. "I have stopped. It is you who are still running." These words struck like lightning. Not physical pursuit, but deeper. Buddha stopped running from life, pain, truth. Angulimala ran from betrayal, goodness, peace. Weapon dropped, clarity pierced hatred's armor. For the first time, he saw himself, not inevitable monster, but human, fleeing his heart. Kneeling in tears, Angulimala asked, "Is peace possible for me? Can such deeds be forgiven? Any hope for this darkened heart?" Buddha knelt, hand on shoulder, eyes unconditional love. No darkness too deep for awakening's light. No past beyond transformation through remorse and change. Your Buddha nature remains untouched, waiting to be recognized. Today, real life begins if willing. Angulimala took refuge, becoming disciple. Through practice and grace, he attained arhatship enlightenment, matching advanced students. Yet, the path wasn't easy. Recognized as killer, he faced stones, curses, execution demands. Remaining peaceful, he understood these as karma's fruits. Asking Buddha about hostility despite change. "People treat me as the old self." Buddha replied, "If someone throws a stone and you don't pick it up, whose is it? Theirs." Anger offered remains with offerer, if unaccepted. Your transformation genuine. Others may need time or never see. Their burden, not yours. Live from now's truth, not past's shadow. Angulimala lived compassionately, helping others to peace, his story proof of transformation's power. No fall too far, change impossible, the awakening potential intact in every heart. Buddha's love knows no bounds, believing in redemption always. This radical change teaches hope, darkness from pain, but compassion redeems. Angulimala's from scholar to killer to sage shows environment and choices shape, yet essence redeemable. In application, for those feeling irredeemable addicts, regretful story inspires seeking inner light, forgiving self through practice. Modern parallels, societal outcasts, criminals' rehabilitation, echoes Buddha's approach, offering change paths over punishment. Challenges, facing consequences, as Angulimala did with equanimity, accepting karma without attachment. Linking tales, like beggars giving, reversing scarcity, Angulimala's offers compassion, reversing violence. Mahadana's selfless life mirrors ultimate giving of transformation. Community. Stories like this build empathy, reducing stigma, encouraging support for the fallen. In rest, let redemption's possibilities soothe, knowing light awaits in every heart. Angulimala's change empowers. Love stronger than hate, potential infinite. From serial killer to sage, proof, awakening calls all home, stopping the endless running. In the profound narrative of Angulimala's transformation within Buddha's teachings, the concept of stopping the endless running emerges as a pivotal insight, revealing how recognizing one's inherent Buddha nature can cease the perpetual chase from pain, fear, and illusion toward a state of profound stillness and awakening. This theme is central to Angulimala's encounter with Buddha, where the serial killer's frantic pursuit, both literal and metaphorical, halts in the face of the teacher's serene declaration, "I have stopped. It is you who are still running." These words pierce the veil of Angulimala's tormented existence, illuminating that his violence and suffering stemmed from a relentless flight from his own wounded heart, betrayed trust, and lost goodness. The running symbolizes the human condition, endlessly fleeing discomfort, chasing illusions of control or revenge, and avoiding the truth of impermanence and interconnectedness. By stopping, one confronts and integrates these shadows, allowing the innate Buddha nature, pure, compassionate awareness to emerge untarnished, ending the cycle of self-inflicted torment and opening the path to redemption and peace. Angulimala's backstory exemplifies this endless running. Once the promising scholar, Ahimsa, his expulsion through lies ignited a rage that propelled him into wilderness, isolation, where bandits amplified his grievances, convincing him society deserved punishment. Renaming himself Garland of Fingers, he ran from his harmless essence, embodying the monster others falsely labeled him, collecting 999 fingers in a grotesque symbol of defiance. Each murder was a step further from his true self, driven by pain's momentum, running from betrayal's sting, from vulnerability, from the possibility of forgiveness or healing. This mirrors universal patterns. People run through addictions to numb emotional wounds, through ambition to escape inadequacy, or through anger to avoid grief. Buddha's wisdom reveals such flight as futile, perpetuating suffering dukkha, rooted in craving tanha for vengeance or validation, per the Four Noble Truths. Stopping interrupts this, inviting direct confrontation with reality's nature, impermanent, non-self, anatta, where pain loses power when not evaded. The dramatic forest encounter crystallizes this cessation. As Angulimala charges to claim his 1000th victim, Buddha's unhurried pace defies logic. Despite frantic sprinting, the killer can't close the gap, as if compassion warps space-time. Exhausted, Angulimala demands, "Stop running." Buddha's response, "I have stopped." This isn't evasion but profound truth. Buddha ceased running from life's truths years ago under the Bodhi tree, embracing suffering's causes and paths to freedom. Angulimala, however, ran endlessly from pain of injustice, from his capacity for good, from peace's vulnerability. The words act as a mirror, reflecting his internal chase. Violence as flight from self, each kill deepening the abyss, yet never outpacing inner torment. Recognizing this, Angulimala drops his weapon, tears flowing in remorse, the first stop in lifetimes of running, allowing Buddha nature to surface. This recognition of Buddha nature is key to stopping. Every being possesses this innate purity, untouched by actions or circumstances, like the lake's clarity beneath mud, or the bowl's essence in shards. Angulimala's crimes obscured it, but Buddha saw through, offering unconditional acceptance that invited self-seeing. Stopping the run means pausing amid chaos to acknowledge this core pure awareness beyond ego's stories of victimhood or monstrosity. In practice, this involves mindfulness. When pain arises, betrayal, loss, failure, resist, fleeing into distraction or retaliation. Sit with it, observe without judgment, as in meditation's natural settling. Breathe into the urge to run, labeling fear, anger, letting pass like clouds. Over time, this reveals the chase as illusion, fostered by ignorance, avijja, of non-self, no permanent I to defend or avenge. Stopping integrates with perseverance. Angulimala's post, transformation faced hostility, stones thrown, curses hurled, yet he didn't run back to violence, accepting karma's echoes with equanimity. Buddha advised, if anger offered, don't accept, it remains with the offerer. This non-reactive stance stops running from consequences, building inner strength. Applied daily, in criticism, don't flee into defensiveness. Pause, recognize triggered pain, respond from Buddha, nature's calm. Relationships benefit. Instead of running from vulnerability through arguments, stop and listen, fostering deeper bonds. Challenges in stopping, habits of flight ingrained, as pain feels overwhelming. Buddha's compassion models gentleness, no shame for Angulimala's past, just invitation to begin anew. Start small micro-pauses in stress. 3 breaths to halt mental sprinting. Meditation trains. Focus on present. When mind runs to past regrets or future fears, gently return. Visualize as Angulimala, chasing illusions, then stopping, feeling peace descend. This theme links to redemption's journey. Like the desert merchant persisting to find water, stopping run requires initial effort, but yields breakthroughs. Kanthaka's giving stopped scarcity's chase. Mahadana's offerings ceased self-other division. In 4 Noble Truths, running fuels cravings suffering, stopping leads to path's 8-fold steps, cultivating wisdom over impulse. Community aspect. Stopping individually inspires collective halt to cycles of harm, violence, prejudice. Societies running from shared pain perpetuate division. Compassionate pauses build empathetic groups. Globally, amid crises, wars, inequalities, stopping the run from others' suffering through aid or advocacy fosters healing. Personally, in grief or failure, don't run into denial. Embrace, let Buddha nature guide growth. In rest, reflect on days running, worries chased, pains avoided. Visualize stopping, like Angulimala kneeling, peace enveloping. Sleep invites subconscious halt, awakening refreshed. Stopping the endless running liberates. Cease chase, recognize ever-present Buddha nature. Angulimala's radical change proves, from darkness's sprint to enlightenment's stand, peace awaits those who pause. Buddha's call, stop now, come home to true self journey, ends where it begins, in stillness's embrace, the desert well of determination. In the inspiring accounts of Buddha's teachings, the story of the merchant leader in a past life serves as a powerful symbol of determination on the spiritual path, illustrating how unwavering perseverance can uncover hidden resources and lead to breakthroughs when all seems lost. This narrative is shared by Buddha with a discouraged young monk who had abandoned his vow of solitary meditation after weeks of doubt and perceived lack of progress. The monk, feeling overwhelmed by a sense that he lacked the essential qualities for enlightenment, approached Buddha with shame, fearing his irresolution might dishearten others. Buddha, with compassionate insight, reminded him of his true nature by recounting a previous existence where the monk demonstrated extraordinary resolve that saved hundreds, proving the same strength lies within him now. The tale unfolds in ancient times when the Bodhisattva Buddha, in a former life, was born as a merchant leading caravans of 500 carts through treacherous terrains, earning renown for wisdom and courage that drew eager followers. The caravan embarked on a perilous crossing of a vast sandy desert, a journey promising profit but fraught with danger. The sand, fine as dust and scorching under the sun, made daytime travel impossible, so they moved only at night, camping under awnings by day. Loaded with extra wood, water, and food, they navigated like sailors on an ocean, guided by a pilot reading stars from the lead cart. After successfully traversing 59 leagues, they were one night from safety. That evening, after their meal, the merchant ordered the final push. The pilot, cushions arranged, lay observing the heavens, but, exhausted from weeks of vigilance, fell asleep. Unguided, the oxen circled back, retracing the previous path all night. At dawn, the pilot awoke in horror, Stop the wagons. The caravan halted at the same campsite they had left, supplies wasted without progress. Despair swept through, cries of doom, as water dwindled and food ran low deep in the merciless desert. Men unyoked oxen, spread canopies, but lay in hopelessness, convinced death inevitable. Yet the Bodhisattva refused surrender. If I lose heart, all perish. As leader, responsibility demands action. Water must exist, I'll find it. While morning remained cool, he scouted the landscape others deemed hopeless, spotting a small tuft of grass in dry sand. Reasoning grass requires underground moisture. He summoned diggers with spades. They excavated 60 cubits deep, striking solid rock, tools thrown down in defeat, hopeless, nothing but stone. Undeterred, intuition guiding, the Bodhisattva descended, ear to rock hearing faint water flow beneath. Emerging hopeful, he urged his young assistant, if we give up, we die. Strike this stone with hammer, water lies below. Inspired, the assistant obeyed, blow splitting rock. Clear water gushed, filling the pit to palm tree height. Celebration erupted, drinking, bathing, cooking, watering oxen. At sunset, they flagged the well for future travelers, completing the journey safely, selling goods profitably, returning home enriched. Buddha paused, addressing the monk. In that life, you were the merchant whose determination saved 500, courage to search when others quit, wisdom spotting signs missed, faith in possibilities unseen, that strength persists within you. The desert symbolizes spiritual journeys. Vast, arid doubts and obstacles threaten progress. Caravans represent seekers. Misdirection, like the sleeping pilot mirrors, lapses in vigilance, looping back to old habits. Depleted supplies echo exhausted motivation. Despair's camp, the temptation to abandon practice. The well of determination teaches breakthrough in hopelessness. Grass tuft as subtle signs, fleeting insights in meditation, ignored by the defeated but pursued by the resolute. Digging's depth mirrors persistent effort. Rock barrier, seemingly insurmountable blocks like doubt or distraction. Yet, listening closely, mindful awareness reveals flow beneath. The assistant strike symbolizes final, faithful action, shattering illusions, unleashing inner resources. Applied to perseverance, the monk's doubt paralleled the caravan's despair, but recalling past resolve reignited commitment. In spiritual practice, deserts arise, dry spells without progress, temptations to quit. Determination digs deeper. Continue meditation despite wandering mind. Trust process like hearing waters gurgle. Buddha's reminder. Past lives' strengths carry forward. Temporary setbacks don't define capacity. This links to redemption. Like Angulimala stopping his run, determination halts despair's cycle, uncovering awakening's water. In Eightfold Path, right effort sustains through dryness. 4 Noble Truths. Perseverance navigates suffering to liberation. Modern resonance. Goals like fitness or learning hit deserts, plateaus. Motivation loss. Persevere. Scout grass. Small wins. Dig persistently. Strike barriers with faith. Challenges. Fatigue. Doubt. Rest strategically, like night travels, but never abandon. Community. The merchant's leadership saved all. Shared determination builds collective resilience. as disciples inspired by the tale. In crises, illness, loss, desert vast, but determination finds wells of strength, like hidden water sustaining life. In rest, visualize digging through doubts, striking rock to release peace's flow. Sleep renews resolve for tomorrow's journey. The desert well empowers. Determination uncovers miracles in barrenness. Like the merchant turning doom to triumph, persevere. Spiritual breakthroughs await the unyielding, quenching thirst for enlightenment. Accepting karma's consequences. In the transformative journey depicted in Buddha's teachings, accepting karma's consequences emerges as a crucial aspect of redemption, where one embraces the natural outcomes of past actions with equanimity, transforming potential suffering into opportunities for growth and deeper understanding. This principle is poignantly illustrated in Angulimala's post-enlightenment experiences, where despite his profound change from serial killer to enlightened arhat, he continued to face hostility from those who remembered his violent past. Rather than resisting or resenting these reactions, Angulimala remained peaceful, viewing them as the inevitable fruits of his previous deeds. Buddha's guidance on this matter provides a timeless lesson. When others offer anger or harm, if we do not accept it into our hearts, it remains with them, allowing us to maintain inner peace while acknowledging karma's impartial law of cause and effect. Accepting consequences isn't passive resignation, but active wisdom, recognizing that actions ripple across time, yet our present response determines whether we perpetuate suffering or transcend it. This acceptance fosters humility, prevents reactive cycles, and aligns with the path to complete liberation, where karma's shadows dissolve in the light of awakened awareness. Angulimala's story, after his dramatic encounter with Buddha in the forest, highlights this acceptance vividly. Having taken refuge and devoted himself to practice, he attained arhatship relatively quickly, his transformation so genuine that he embodied compassion and wisdom. Yet, returning to populated areas with Buddha, reality tested his resolve. Recognized as the notorious killer with the finger garland, people reacted with fear and hatred. Stones were hurled at him during alms rounds, curses shouted from doorways, and demands for execution echoed in villages. These weren't random cruelties, but direct consequences of his 999 murders. The terror he instilled now reflected back, as families of victims or witnesses sought retribution. Angulimala, however, didn't retaliate or flee. He walked calmly, accepting each insult as part of his karmic debt, his face serene like Buddha, observing the broken bowl's shards. Troubled but not defeated, he approached Buddha. "Master, I've genuinely changed, devoting to peace, yet people treat me as the old self. How to understand this rejection?" Buddha's response offered profound clarity. When someone throws a stone at you and you do not pick it up, whose stone is it? It belongs to the thrower. Similarly, when people offer anger and hatred, if you do not accept these into your heart, they remain with those offering them. Your transformation is complete. Others may need time to recognize or never see past your former actions. This is their burden, not yours. Your responsibility is to live from now's truth, not past's shadow. This teaching underscores karma's nature. Actions, karma means action in Sanskrit, create results. Vipaka, that must ripen, like seeds growing into fruits. Angulimala's past violence sowed fear. Now harvesting it, acceptance neutralized its power to disturb his peace. Karma's law, central to Buddhist understanding, operates impersonally like gravity, affecting all without bias. Positive actions yield positive fruits, harmful ones, suffering. Yet, acceptance transforms this. Resisting consequences amplifies pain, like stirring the muddy lake. Embracing them with mindfulness allows ripening without attachment, exhausting negative karma while preventing new harmful seeds. Angulimala's equanimity exemplified this. By not picking up hostility, neither internalizing shame nor retaliating, he let it pass, his enlightened state untouched. This mirrors broader principles. In Four Noble Truths, suffering arises from craving, including desire to avoid karma's fruits. Cessation comes through release. The Eightfold Path's right view understands karma. Right action avoids creating more. Accepting consequences integrates redemption with perseverance. Angulimala's change didn't erase past, but provided tools to navigate its echoes. He continued practice amid adversity, his commitment deepening as he viewed hostility as teacher, reminding humility, reinforcing compassion. For seekers, this means facing failures or regrets without denial. A lost job from poor choices. Accept, learn, move forward without self-pity. In relationships, hurtful words backlash. Acknowledge impact. Apologize sincerely. Accept forgiveness's timing. This prevents running from shadows, as in Angulimala's ceaseless chase halted by Buddha's words. In application, cultivate acceptance through mindfulness. When consequences arise, criticism for past mistakes, pause. Observe reactions without judgment. Breathe into discomfort. Recognize it as vipaka. Release attachment like setting down the cup. Journal. Note action, consequence, lesson transforming regret into wisdom. Meditation aids. Visualize karma as river past deeds flow to present. Float equanimously, not fighting current. Challenges. Ego resists, demanding injustice. Counter with compassion for self as learner, others as fellow sufferers under karma's law. This acceptance links to community building. Angulimala's perseverance inspired others, showing change possible despite consequences. Societies accepting collective karma, historical injustices, through restorative actions, heal divides. In kindness's path, give without expecting immediate fruit, accepting delayed vipaka. Globally, amid inequalities or disasters, accept shared karma by acting compassionately, not blaming. Personally, in illness or loss, view as ripening without "why me?" Focus on present response. Emotionally, it cools craving. Desire to avoid consequences fuels anxiety. Acceptance brings peace, like silence dissolving anger. In rest, reflect on day's consequences. Accept without resistance. Visualize releasing like unpicked stones. Sleep integrates lessons, awakening renewed. Accepting karma's consequences empowers. No longer victim to past, architect of future. Like Angulimala, enduring hostility yet radiating peace. Embrace fruits with grace, exhausting shadows, illuminating path. Buddha's assurance, live from truth now, burdens lighten, redemption complete in equanimity's embrace. Renewed commitment to practice. In the compassionate wisdom of Buddha's teachings, renewed commitment to practice represents the essential spark that reignites the flame of perseverance on the path to enlightenment, transforming moments of doubt and discouragement into powerful affirmations of one's inherent potential for awakening. This theme is beautifully captured in the story of the young monk who abandoned his solitary meditation vow, overwhelmed by self-doubt and a perceived lack of progress, only to be reminded by Buddha of his past life's extraordinary resolve. As a merchant leader who saved his caravan through unyielding determination, the monk's initial vow to remain in isolation until achieving a breakthrough mirrored the sincere aspirations of many seekers. Yet after mere weeks, waves of uncertainty crashed upon him, thoughts of unworthiness, frustration at stagnant meditation, and fear that he lacked the qualities for liberation. Approaching Buddha with sagging shoulders and averted eyes, accompanied by concerned senior monks, he confessed his failure, worried his lack of resolve might discourage others. Buddha, ever the gentle guide, saw beyond the surface despair to the monk's latent strength, using the desert well-tale to rekindle his fire. This present life is a precious opportunity that should not be wasted. If you give up now, you may spend countless future existences regretting this moment when liberation was within your reach. By evoking the monk's former existence as the bodhisattva merchant whose persistence turned despair into salvation, Buddha illustrated that renewed commitment isn't about starting over, but remembering and reclaiming the enduring spirit that has always been present, ready to propel one forward through the arid stretches of doubt. The desert story, where the caravan looped back to their starting point due to the pilot's slumber, parallels the spiritual pitfalls that test commitment. In meditation, the pilot of focused awareness can drift, leading practitioners to circle familiar mental patterns, doubts, distractions, old habits without advancement, depleting inner resources like the caravan's dwindling water. The men's collapse into hopelessness reflects the monk's surrender, where perceived futility halts progress. Yet, the bodhisattva's refusal to yield, "If I lose heart, all will perish," models the renewed vow, scanning for signs like the grass tuft, symbolizing subtle insights amid barren mindscapes, digging persistently through layers of resistance and striking the rock with faith to release the wellspring of clarity. For the monk, this reminder wasn't mere encouragement, but a direct call to renew his practice. The same determination that saved 500 lives now could unearth enlightenment's water, quenching the thirst for freedom from suffering. Renewed commitment begins with honest self-reflection, acknowledging lapses without self-judgment, as Buddha did with the monk. No rebuke, just a compassionate recounting of inherent capabilities. In practice, this means pausing amid doubt to inventory progress, journal moments of fleeting peace in meditation, note barriers like wandering thoughts, and reaffirm the vow with simplicity, "I commit to sitting today, observing whatever arises." This mirrors the merchant's step-by-step digging. Spiritual practice isn't about dramatic leaps, but consistent effort, even when the rock of stagnation appears. Buddha's eightfold path supports this renewal. Right effort sustains through dryness. Right mindfulness observes discouragement without attachment. Right concentration deepens focus like the hammer's precise strike. The Four Noble Truths frame it. Doubt as dukkha, from craving quick results. Renewal quenches this by embracing the path's gradual nature. Daily renewal counters common obstacles. The mind's desert phases, where enthusiasm wanes and progress feels illusory. Like the caravan's wasted night, sessions may seem regressive, more distraction than before, but renewed vow treats these as opportunities. Recommit by adjusting, perhaps shortening sits or incorporating walking meditation to maintain momentum. Inspiration from past lives or successes helps. Recall prior glimpses of calm, like the monk's reminded strength, fueling persistence. Community aids. Share struggles with fellow practitioners, as the senior monks did, turning isolation into shared resolve. Buddha's Sangha exemplifies this, where mutual encouragement prevents abandonment. This commitment integrates redemption. Angulimala's radical change required ongoing practice amid consequences. Accepting karma's fruits without wavering, renewed his vow daily. The desert's determination echoes. Spiritual breakthroughs often follow darkest doubts, as the well appeared after deepest dig. For beginners, renew, gently set modest goals. Celebrate small victories like completing a session despite resistance. Advanced seekers view plateaus as tests, renewing through deeper inquiry. What attachment blocks clarity, striking at roots like the rock? Modern parallels abound. Pursuits like learning skills hit walls. Renewed commitment. Daily practice, despite frustration, yields mastery. In mental health, therapy's deserts test resolve. Perseverance uncovers healing wells. Challenges. External pressures tempting quit distractions. Skepticism. Counter with Buddha's reminder. Precious human life wasted in regret. Future existences burdened by unfinished vows. Emotionally, renewal cools discouragement's fires. Craving instant enlightenment fuels despair. Acceptance of gradual path, like karma's ripening, brings patience. Link to generosity. Giving kindness renews communal commitment, as Mahadana's offerings sustained his realm's harmony. Globally, amid uncertainties, pandemics, conflicts, renewed societal vows to compassion build resilience, like the flagged well aiding future travelers. Personally, in setbacks, illness, loss, recommit to practice. Meditate through pain, finding inner wells of strength. In rest, visualize the desert journey, lost but persisting, striking rock to release flow. Reflect on day's commitments, where wavered. Renew vow for tomorrow. Sleep integrating resolve. Renewed commitment empowers. Doubt's deserts bloom with determination's water. Like the monk, reminded of merchant's save. Reclaim your strength. Unwavering resolve turns abandonment's edge into enlightenment's dawn. Buddha's call. Persevere. Liberation awaits the steadfast heart, awakening through balance and self-understanding. The boy's gift of compassion. In the profound teachings of Buddha, the story of the ascetic monk Kassapa and the young village boy's simple gift serves as a gentle reminder of the need for balance on the spiritual path, where extreme discipline must open to the warmth of human kindness and connection to truly awaken the heart. This narrative unfolds in a remote forest monastery nestled among mist-covered peaks, home to Kassapa, a monk whose rigorous austerities had become legendary in surrounding villages. Kassapa believed with unwavering conviction that enlightenment demanded complete denial of the body and all physical desires, drawing from tales of sages who achieved realizations through severe self-mortification. He viewed every comfort, pleasure, or moment of ease as a deviation from liberation, pushing his practices to extremes that surpassed even the most dedicated ascetics. His routine was punishing, rising before dawn for endless meditation, with minimal breaks, and most strikingly, extended fasts 3 days without food, perhaps a handful of rice, then longer periods of deprivation. His body grew emaciated, ribs protruding, skin grayish, movement slowed like an elder's, yet he wore this deterioration as honor, seeing resistance to bodily needs as victory over materiality. Other monks watched with mixed admiration and concern. Some respected his commitment, questioning their own dedication. Others feared harm obstructing rather than advancing progress, though none challenged his revered status. One morning, as Kassapa meditated near the monastery entrance, a young village boy of 8 or 9 passed by gathering herbs. The child's innocent eyes immediately noticed the monk's dire state, unlike adults accustomed to it. Approaching with natural compassion unclouded by overthinking, the boy asked, "Sir, you look very sick and tired. When did you last eat? Are you hungry?" Kassapa, surprised by the direct query from a child, explained, "I fast to purify my spirit and detach from worldly attachments. Food distracts from the path. Denying the body frees the soul from material prison." The boy, puzzled by words clashing with practical sense, looked at his bundle of simple food, flatbread and dried fruit from his mother. Without hesitation, he offered, "Please take this. Mother packs extra, and you needed more." Kassapa's mind wrestled. Discipline demanded refusal, maintaining the fast as resolve's test. Yet, the boy's pure concern, innocent motivation, and human simplicity cracked his rigid barriers. For the first time, Kassapa truly saw the offerer, a child embodying uncomplicated care over a spiritual trial. Almost instinctively, he accepted, feeling a warmth in his chest, absent from years of austerity. Eating the first food in 4 days, physical strength returned alongside something deeper, realization that pursuing liberation had isolated him from connections nourishing enlightenment. The boy, satisfied seeing color return to Kassapa's cheeks, continued on, joyful in helping without needing reward. For Kassapa, this encounter initiated profound confusion and gratitude, prompting him to seek Buddha's wisdom in a nearby grove. Approaching humbly, he shared his story. Years of strict discipline, believing denial purified, yet the boy's kindness awakened his heart more than fasting ever did. "Blessed One, have I practiced wrongly? What's the true relationship between discipline and compassion?" Buddha listened with understanding, smiling warmly. "Dear Kassapa, just as a bird needs 2 wings to fly, seekers need wisdom and compassion. Discipline without compassion breeds rigidity and pride. Compassion without discipline leads to indulgence. Balanced, they form enlightenment's foundation. Your practice wasn't wasted but incomplete. True development requires inner purification and outer love. The child taught what your heart knew but mind forgot. awakening flourishes open to kindness's flow. Extreme austerity useful for self-control but obstructive when hardening against relationships, allowing wisdom to bloom into compassion. The middle way teaches dynamic balance, discipline serving love, compassion guided by wisdom. Continue meditation and ethics, but with open heart receiving and giving care. From then, Kassapa transformed, maintaining discipline but embracing community, finding practice deepened through integration. Years later, known for balanced wisdom and kindness, he often recalled the boy's gift, opening Buddha's profound teaching on awakening's two wings. This story emphasizes balance. Kassapa's extremes mirrored ascetics Buddha tried before enlightenment, realizing denial as attachment to suffering. The boy's compassion, untainted by dogma, bridged isolation, showing human connection essential for spiritual growth. In application, modern seekers often swing to extremes, rigid routines, ignoring relationships, or laxity lacking structure. Balance. Meditate daily but engage kindly. Fast mindfully but accept nourishment gratefully. The gift symbolizes openness. Kassapa's acceptance mirrored receiving life's teachings beyond self-imposed limits. Compassion arises in vulnerability, allowing others kindness softens ego, fostering humility. For practitioners, invite balance. If discipline feels cold, seek interactions. If scattered, recommit to routine. This integrates awakening through understanding. Boy's innocence reflects direct insight, like lotus flowers' wordless transmission. Three wishes, story echoes. True wisdom from self-reflection over external fixes, balancing inner, outer challenges. Pride in extremes resists balance. Start noticing imbalances, fatigue from over, discipline, guilt from laxity. Adjust compassionately. Meditation cultivates alternate focused concentration with loving kindness, embodying wings. Community benefits. Monasteries thrive on balanced monks, supporting each other like boy's gift. Societies. Kindness tempers ambition, building harmonious groups. Globally, amid imbalances, overwork, disconnection story invites equilibrium, discipline for goals, compassion for connections, awakening holistic selves. Emotionally, balance cools extremes. Rigid denial breeds isolation, suffering. Openness invites joy's flow. In rest, contemplate imbalances. Visualize birds' wings, discipline and compassion carrying to peace. Sleep integrates, awakening balanced. The boy's gift empowers. Balance awakens fully. Like Kassapa, from austerity's prison to compassionate freedom, embrace both wings, soar to enlightenment's heights. The three wishes for inner wisdom. In the profound teachings of Buddha, the story of the wealthy merchant Danjaya and his three wishes serves as a masterful lesson in realizing that true fulfillment arises from inner wisdom and self-understanding, rather than attempting to fix external circumstances or suppress inner turmoil through mere desire or force. This narrative unfolds in a prosperous village surrounded by fertile fields and bustling marketplaces, where Danjaya had amassed a vast fortune through shrewd trading, careful investments, and an uncanny ability to spot profitable opportunities. He owned grand houses in multiple cities, each filled with exquisite furniture, precious artwork, and luxurious amenities. His storehouses overflowed with grain, gold, and exotic goods. His stables housed magnificent horses, his gardens bloomed with rare flowers, and his table groaned under delicacies fit for royalty. By all societal measures, Dhananjaya epitomized success. Merchants envied him, young entrepreneurs emulated his methods, and his family enjoyed unparalleled status and comfort. Yet, beneath this opulence lurked a persistent void, an inner emptiness that no accumulation could fill. Despite his achievements, Dhananjaya lay awake in his silk-draped bed, staring at ornate ceilings, plagued by restlessness and dissatisfaction. Each new acquisition brought fleeting excitement, only for the gnawing sense of incompleteness to return stronger. He began questioning if some flaw in his character barred him from the contentment his wealth should provide. Hearing of Buddha's arrival in the region, whose wisdom brought peace to troubled hearts, Dhananjaya felt a surge of hope. Dressed in finest robes, mounted on his prized horse, he journeyed to the grove where Buddha taught, drawn by desperation after exhausting material solutions. Arriving, Dhananjaya encountered Buddha beneath a sprawling banyan tree, emanating tranquility in simple orange robes amid minimal possessions, a stark contrast to his own extravagance. Yet, Buddha's presence commanded respect, his compassionate gaze piercing Dhananjaya's facade. Prostrating humbly, Dhananjaya confessed, "Blessed One, I possess everything deemed happiness, wealth beyond lifetimes, homes, servants, respect, a secure family. Yet, emptiness haunts me, growing despite expansions. I've tried more possessions, ventures, status. Nothing fills this void. Please, share wisdom to find elusive contentment." Buddha listened with undivided attention, silent moments following before responding gently, "Your search sincere, though misdirected. I'll offer powerful medicine, 3 wishes, not for wealth but addressing dissatisfaction's roots. Trust my guidance completely." Dhananjaya agreed eagerly. First wish, complete freedom from worries, disturbing peace. Observe your mind days ahead. Return with discoveries. Hopeful, Dhananjaya returned home, but worries persisted. Business concerns, family futures, decisions replayed incessantly. The wish seemed ineffective. Frustrated, he reported back. Buddha smiled patiently. Worries vanish not by wishing but understanding mind's nature, relating differently to thoughts like passing clouds when ungrasped. Second wish, freedom from desires creating restlessness. Again, homeward, but cravings for more wealth, success, status raged unchanged. Returning disappointed, Buddha clarified. Desires eliminated not through force but wisdom transforming patterns. Now, final wish. Think carefully. Reflecting on failures, Dhananjaya realized external fixes futile, emptiness internal. For my third wish, I ask not removal of conditions or additions, but ability to understand myself, why dissatisfied despite all, what true contentment requires. Buddha's face lit with approval. Wise wish indeed, seeking understanding over escape. Over weeks, Buddha guided Dhananjaya in self-reflection and meditation, revealing restlessness from misunderstanding happiness's source, not lacking possessions, but seeking in externals what only inner development provides. Wealth failed because no acquisition fills voids from unknown true nature. Happiness uncovered by recognizing peace within, independent of change. Through observation, Dhanjaya saw mind's patterns, attachments breeding fear, cravings cycling dissatisfaction. Meditation trained presence, dissolving illusions of separate self needing control. Relationship with wealth shifted, enjoyed comforts without dependency, managed business without desperation. True wealth, appreciating internal, finding contentment beyond circumstances. This story teaches self, understanding supremacy. First wishes failed, showing superficial fixes, ineffective against deep causes. Third succeeded, targeting root ignorance of self. Echoes, 4 noble truths. Suffering from craving. Second, cessation through wisdom. Third, path via insight. Fourth, middle way balances, neither denying desires nor indulging, but understanding. In application, modern emptiness amid abundant success yet unfulfilled mirrors Dhanjaya. Pursue understanding. Meditate daily, observing thoughts without judgment, questioning why this restlessness, what attaches. Journal patterns, worries, desires, trace to fears of impermanence, release like setting cup down. Practices. Mindfulness scans body, mind, noting tensions from unmet expectations, breathing into them for dissolution. Challenges. Mind resists introspection, preferring distractions. Start gently, short sessions, build gradually. Community supports. Discuss with like-minded, as Dhanjaya with Buddha. Integrate balance. Pursue goals, but reflect inwardly, ensuring actions align with wisdom. This wisdom links awakening. Like boy's gift, opening Kasapa to compassion, 3 wishes open to self-knowledge over fixes. Lotus flowers direct transmission echoes, wisdom beyond words in direct experience. Golden fish release, compassion over greed mirrors, choosing understanding over accumulation. Emotionally, counters craving, desires for control, fuel emptiness. Self-understanding cools, revealing sufficiency. Globally, amid inequalities, encourages inner riches over material chase, fostering equitable societies. Personally, in crises loss, failure wish not escape, but understand, turning adversity into growth. Relationships, understand self's needs, communicate authentically, reducing conflicts. In rest, reflect on wishes what external fixes sought. Shift to inner query, sleep nurturing insight. The 3 wishes empower. External pursuits illusory, inner wisdom liberates. Like Dhanjaya from void to peace, seek self-understanding, uncover fulfillment always within, path illuminated by awareness's light. Direct transmission of the lotus. In the profound teachings of Buddha, the story of the lotus flower transmission represents a pinnacle of direct awakening, where wisdom transcends words and concepts, awakening through simple presence and immediate recognition of truth beyond intellectual grasping. This enigmatic event occurred as Buddha sat peacefully with his disciples beneath the great Bodhi tree, the very site of his enlightenment. After a day of teachings on the path to liberation, the disciples, having absorbed lessons on stillness, emotional transformation, generosity, and perseverance, yearned for the deepest essence underlying all the foundation of Buddha's awakening. Though they understood concepts like the Four Noble Truths intellectually, a subtle restlessness lingered as minds clung to explanations, attempting to capture enlightenment in nets of language and analysis. Buddha, perceiving this struggle from his own past, seeking through accumulated knowledge, rose silently and walked to a nearby lotus pond. The water reflected stars like scattered diamonds, broad leaves floating serenely, pristine white blooms emerging untouched from muddy depths, a living symbol of purity arising from worldly impurity. Selecting a perfectly opened lotus, its petals luminous in twilight, Buddha returned and sat before his expectant disciples, holding the flower gently in his right hand. They anticipated a metaphor, perhaps the lotus as mind emerging pure from life's mud, or its beauty demonstrating reality's nature. Accustomed to Buddha's skillful use of nature for complex principles, they leaned forward, minds racing to decipher the lesson. Yet, Buddha offered no words, just perfect stillness, gazing at the lotus with a gentle smile, as if the flower itself conveyed the teaching. Minutes stretched in silence. Disciples shifted uncomfortably, puzzling if he awaited a question or tested patience. Some exchanged glances, analyzing symbolism: lotus as enlightenment, roots in samsara, bloom in nirvana. Others meditated, assuming appropriate response. A few debated internally, minds churning concepts. But one disciple, Venerable Mahakasyapa, beheld the flower and Buddha's serenity, and something extraordinary transpired. Instead of seeking meaning or explanation, he simply saw the moment's perfect simplicity, truth complete beyond elaboration. A smile dawned on Mahakasyapa's face, not of solving a puzzle, but awakening from complexity's dream into direct reality's brilliance. His radiant grin widened, realizing he'd searched everywhere for what was present now, in pure awareness. Buddha noticed instantly, his smile deepening with a teacher's joy at a student's profound grasp. Without speaking, he acknowledged Mahakasyapa's understanding, the direct transmission of mind to mind, heart to heart, where Dharma passed beyond verbal confines. This wordless exchange, known as the Flower Sermon, encapsulates Zen's essence in later traditions, but roots in Buddha's method. Awakening often defies description, requiring direct experience over doctrine. The lotus, held silently, symbolized truth's ineffable nature, beautiful, complete, needing no embellishment. Disciples' mental striving mirrored common pitfalls, overthinking spiritual paths, collecting concepts like possessions, missing present moment reality. Mahakasyapa's smile showed recognition, enlightenment, not acquired knowledge, but sudden insight into what's always here, like peace beneath lake's mud or bowl's essence in shards. The transmission teaches balance in awakening. Intellectual understanding prepares but can't substitute direct seeing. Buddha's silence invited dropping analytical minds, opening to intuitive wisdom. In practice, this means complementing study with silent meditation, zazen-like sitting, observing without labeling, allowing insights to arise spontaneously. When concepts dominate, pause like Buddha with the lotus. Hold a simple object, a flower, stone, breath, and gaze without interpretation, letting mind quiet into presence. This cultivates beginner's mind, free from preconceptions, where truth reveals itself. Mahakasyapa's response highlights self-understanding. His smile reflected inner knowing, beyond external validation. The story warns against attachment to teachings, as forms clinging to words creates barriers, like Kasapa's rigid austerity blocking compassion. Direct transmission bypasses this, awakening through resonance, as Mahakasyapa's heart mirrored Buddha's. In application, modern seekers often collect spiritual knowledge books, podcasts, retreats, yet feel untransformed, minds restless like disciples. The lotus invites simplicity. Amid busyness, pause wordlessly, observe surroundings without narrative. Walking in nature, sit with a leaf or flower. Let silence teach impermanence and beauty. This balances analytical left brain with intuitive right, fostering holistic awakening. Challenges. Minds habituated to chatter resist silence, wandering to plans or regrets. Gently return, as in breath meditation, without self-criticism. Start short, 5 minutes daily, building tolerance for wordless presence. Group settings enhance. Silent retreats mimic the assembly, shared quiet amplifying transmission, as disciples' collective energy supported Mahakasyapa's insight. This direct method integrates balance, like boy's gift softening Kasapa's extremes. Lotus silence complements disciplined practice with receptive openness. 3 wishes echo. Final wish for understanding succeeds where external fixes fail, mirroring insight beyond wishing. Golden fish release. Compassion arises in silent recognition of shared suffering. Emotionally, it cools overthinking's fires. Craving explanations fuels confusion. Silent presence dissolves, revealing clarity. Globally, amid information overload, Lotus teaches discernment. Absorb teachings, then sit silently, letting essence integrate. Community. Transmission builds Sangha through shared silence, understanding passing heart to heart, fostering unity without doctrine's divisions. Personally, in doubt or overwhelm, hold Lotus a moment's breath and smile at simplicity, renewing commitment like the monk's desert resolve. In rest, let thoughts settle wordlessly, like lotus in pond, awakening to presence's peace. Sleep invites subconscious transmission, dreams echoing direct wisdom. The lotus's direct transmission empowers. Beyond words, truth awakens in seeing. Like Mahakasyapa's smile, recognize the ever-present drop-seeking, embrace now. Enlightenment flowers in silence's bloom, releasing the golden fish. In the compassionate wisdom of Buddha's teachings, the story of the fisherman Matsya and the golden fish beautifully illustrates the profound awakening that occurs when one chooses compassion over greed, releasing attachments to material gain in favor of inner freedom and harmony with all beings. This narrative unfolds in a peaceful river winding through a dense forest, where ancient trees formed a canopy filtering sunlight into golden beams on the water's surface. Here dwelled a magnificent golden fish, its radiant scales shimmering like captured sunshine, becoming legendary among forest inhabitants. Birds perched on banks to watch its graceful swims, animals drank where glimpses might occur, and villagers spoke of it with wonder and reverence. The fish embodied natural freedom, moving elegantly through clear waters, its intelligence and dignity evoking sacred presence in all who beheld it. Near this forest lived Matsya, a diligent fisherman supporting his family by harvesting the river's abundance. Skilled with nets and attuned to aquatic rhythms, he provided sustenance and sold surplus at market. Recently, however, fortunes waned. Usual spots yielded scant catches, nets required mending, family needs grew while income shrank. For months, whispers of the golden fish reached him, descriptions of its beauty, speculations on the fortune it could fetch from wealthy collectors or the king himself. As desperation mounted, Matsya obsessed over capturing it, convinced the sale would secure his family's future. Studying its habits and favored spots, he prepared his finest net, setting out before dawn, driven by dreams of prosperity. After repeated casts without success, Matsya felt a significant tug, heart pounding. He hauled in the net, breath catching at the sight. The golden fish thrashed in the mesh, more exquisite than tales described, scales glowing within a light, eyes intelligent and pleading. For a moment, hesitation gripped him, struck by the creature's distress and apparent appeal for mercy. But greed overpowered compassion. He placed it in a water-filled pot, calculating the king's generous payment. As he prepared to depart for the palace, a group of monks approached along the path, led by Buddha, whose presence radiated peaceful dignity akin to the fish's own. Drawn to the riverside commotion during his meditative walk, Buddha perceived the situation instantly: the fish's desperate yearning for freedom, Matsya's excited yet uneasy plans, the moral crossroads hanging in balance. Approaching gently, Buddha gazed first at the frantic fish, then Matsya's face. "Good fisherman, you've made an unusual catch. What plans for this beautiful creature?" Matsya, eager for validation, explained his capture and intent to sell for fortune, solving financial woes. Buddha nodded thoughtfully. "I see this fish, like all beings, desires freedom above all. Its life belongs to itself, not us. Consider releasing it back. You might receive reward greater than material." Matsya, puzzled and irritated. "Respected sir, what reward surpasses this gold? My family struggles, this answers prayers." Buddha smiled patiently. "Releasing frees you from greed's prison, more confining than poverty. True wealth measures in mind's peace from compassion to all. Blessings from such acts aren't always immediate, but bring richness. Money can't buy joy, knowing kindness over cruelty, freedom over captivity." Buddha's words and presence stirred Matsya's heart. Looking anew at the fish, he truly saw its suffering, empathy rising over profit's allure. After internal struggle, he decided, "You're right. It deserves freedom more than my gain." Lifting the pot, he poured the fish back, watching it circle joyfully, scales dancing light across ripples. As Matsya walked home, a profound peace enveloped him, the first in months, from choosing compassion. In years following, Buddha's promise manifested unexpectedly. Life enriched not through wealth, but deep contentment from aligned values, treating beings with respect. He discovered true prosperity and harmony, where kindness opened unforeseen doors. This releasing teaches balance in awakening. Greed's grasp imbalances, compassion restores equilibrium. The fish symbolizes attachments, glittering like gold, but imprisoning. Release frees both captive and captor. In middle way, neither hoard nor reject, but choose wisely, understanding actions' impacts. greed, a craving form, fuels suffering. Compassion cools, per four noble truths. Applied modernly, consumerism tempts with golden promises, gadgets, status, yet attachment breeds emptiness, like Danjaya's void. Release. Donate unused items, prioritize experiences over possessions, find joy in simplicity. Environmentally, overfishing or exploitation mirrors Matsya's net. Compassionate release sustains ecosystems, building balanced worlds. In relationships, hold loved ones like prizes, fearing loss, release control, allow freedom, deepening bonds. Work, chase promotion greedily, stress ensues, focus contribution, peace follows. This integrates self-understanding. Like three wishes, external gains fail, inner choice for compassion succeeds. Boy's gift echoes, openness to kindness balances austerity. Lotus transmission, silent recognition of life's sacredness as Buddha saw fish's plea. Challenges, greed's allure strong amid scarcity fears. Cultivate, mindfulness on desires observe urge to grasp. Breathe release, like setting cup down. Meditation, visualize holding fish of attachment, pour back to freedom, feeling lightness. Community, releasing selfishness builds kindness networks as Matsya's choice rippled peace. Society's hoarding resources create divides. Compassionate sharing fosters unity. Globally, amid inequalities, release exploitative systems for equitable compassion, sustaining all. Emotionally, counters fear, greed from lack. Release trusts abundance, joy arising. In rest, reflect attachments netted today. Visualize release, sleep in freedom's calm. Releasing the golden fish awakens. Compassion over greed liberates heart. Like Matsya from desperation to peace, choose kindness, inner riches flow, balancing life in harmonious awakening. The tigress sacrifice. In the profound teachings of Buddha, the story of the tigress sacrifice stands as the ultimate expression of selfless compassion, where the bodhisattva, in a previous life, as a prince, offers his own body to save a starving mother tiger and her cubs, demonstrating that true awakening arises from balancing personal existence with the deep understanding of interconnected suffering and the dissolution of self-other boundaries. This narrative, shared by Buddha to illustrate compassion's boundless nature, unfolds during one of the prince's travels through a remote mountain forest with his retinue. Born into royal luxury with every pleasure at hand, the prince possessed a heart overflowing with empathy, unable to witness any being's pain without action. From childhood, he cared for injured birds, fed strays, and eased servants' burdens, his love extending equally to all life forms, recognizing no hierarchy in suffering. One day, the group stumbled upon a heart-wrenching scene in a secluded grove. A tigress, emaciated from failed hunts, lay weakened, her ribs stark against striped fur, eyes dulled by hunger threatening her survival. Beside her, small cubs whimpered faintly, utterly dependent, yet starving as their mother lacked strength to provide. The prince's companions, spotting the predator, urged immediate retreat. "Highness, this starving beast is dangerous. Nature must take its course. We risk our lives staying." But the prince, gazing upon the family, saw not threat but universal motherhood. the tigress's anguish mirroring any parent's desperation to protect offspring. Compassion surged so intensely that self-preservation dissolved. He felt their hunger as his own, their impending death as personal loss. Dismissing his retinue to continue without him, the prince remained alone, approaching the tigress gently. "Noble mother, I see your suffering and your precious cubs. I cannot leave knowing you perish when I can help. Take my life, let my body nourish you, and allow your young to live." Lying before her, offering completely without fear or regret, the prince embodied perfect selflessness. Remarkably, the tigress, sensing this purity, paused instead of attacking her instincts, touched by the sacrifice's profundity. As the prince surrendered, a sacred transformation occurred. His act of total giving transcended physicality, touching existence's heart, where compassion's power alters even desperate circumstances. This sacrifice teaches that when love becomes utterly selfless, prioritizing others' welfare over survival, we touch enlightenment's essence, realizing illusory separation causing most suffering. The prince understood what seekers learn over lifetimes. The self we defend barriers true joy. Surrendering it reveals unity, where another's relief becomes our greatest fulfillment. In Buddhist context, this aligns with Bodhisattva vow delaying nirvana to aid all balancing self-understanding with universal compassion. The tigress story echoes four noble truths: suffering universal dukkha, rooted in attachment, tanha, including to life, cessation through release, path via boundless love. It integrates middle way, neither cling to existence nor seek annihilation, but offer freely in wisdom's equilibrium. The act's radical nature challenges personal survival instinctive, yet the prince's joy in giving surpassed fear, showing compassion's fulfillment exceeds self-preservation. This dissolves non-self anatta, illusion, no permanent I to lose, only interconnected web, where one thread strengthening fortifies all. In application, while few face such extremes, daily parallels abound. Sacrifice time for a struggling friend without resentment. Donate resources to needy without attachment to thanks. Forgive deeply, releasing grudges that feed inner hunger. These offerings balance self-care with outward love, awakening understanding that giving liberates giver most. Modern contexts amplify relevance. Consumer societies prioritize self-gain, breeding isolation like starving tigress, desperate yet alone. Sacrificial kindness rebuilds. Volunteer in crises, advocate for oppressed, share amid scarcity. Environmentally, sacrifice convenience for sustainability, recognizing planetary suffering as our own. In relationships, offer emotional support without expecting reciprocity, dissolving conflicts through empathy. This integrates awakening's balance. Like boy's gift softening Kasapa's austerity, tigress sacrifice balances discipline with heart's openness. 3 wishes. Inner wisdom over external fixes, mirrors understanding sacrifices joy beyond gain. Lotus transmission, wordless recognition of unity as Prince saw tigress's pain as his. Golden fish release, compassion frees both, echoing bodily offering. Challenges in embodying, fear of loss, societal self-focus. Cultivate gradually, meditate on interdependence, visualize all beings as family, offering small sacrifices daily, Noting a rising joy, metta practice extends. May all beings be free from suffering, building capacity for selfless acts. Community fosters. Groups sharing sacrificial stories inspire, like disciples contemplating tigress tale, deepening collective compassion. Emotionally, counters greed, attachment. Craving self-protection fuels isolation. Sacrificial release brings profound peace, cooling cravings fires. Globally, amid divisions, wars, inequalities, leaders emulating Prince could heal, prioritizing collective welfare over power. Personally, in adversity, illness, loss, view as call to compassionate action, sacrificing despair for service, finding meaning. In rest, contemplate attachment, sacrificing for others' good. Visualize tigress nourished, heart lightened. Sleep nurtures selfless love seeds. The tigress sacrifice awakens. Compassion without limits dissolves self, revealing unity's bliss. Like princes offering transcending death, embrace selfless love, balance understanding with giving, enlightenment blooming in surrender's grace. Word count 1000. Chapter 5. Awakening through balance and self. Understanding. Section 5. The Tigress Sacrifice. In the profound teachings of Buddha, the story of the tigress sacrifice stands as the ultimate expression of selfless compassion, where the Bodhisattva, in a previous life as a prince, offers his own body to save a starving mother tiger and her cubs, demonstrating that true awakening arises from balancing personal existence with the deep understanding of interconnected suffering and the dissolution of self-other boundaries. This narrative, shared by Buddha to illustrate compassion's boundless nature, unfolds during one of the prince's travels through a remote mountain forest with his retinue. Born into royal luxury with every pleasure at hand, the prince possessed a heart overflowing with empathy, unable to witness any being's pain without action. From childhood, he cared for injured birds, fed strays, and eased servants' burdens, his love extending equally to all life forms, recognizing no hierarchy in suffering. One day, the group stumbled upon a heart-wrenching scene in a secluded grove. A tigress, emaciated from failed hunts, lay weakened, her ribs stark against striped fur, eyes dulled by hunger, threatening her survival. Beside her, small cubs whimpered faintly, utterly dependent yet starving, as their mother lacked strength to provide. The prince's companions, spotting the predator, urged immediate retreat. "Highness, this starving beast is dangerous. Nature must take its course. We risk our lives staying." But the prince, gazing upon the family, saw not threat but universal motherhood, the tigress's anguish mirroring any parent's desperation to protect offspring. Compassion surged so intensely that self-preservation dissolved. He felt their hunger as his own, their impending death as personal loss. Dismissing his retinue to continue without him, the prince remained alone, approaching the tigress gently. "Noble mother, I see your suffering and your precious cubs. I cannot leave knowing you perish when I can help. Take my life, let my body nourish you, and allow your young to live." Lying before her, offering completely without fear or regret, the prince embodied perfect selflessness. Remarkably, the tigress, sensing this purity, paused instead of attacking her instincts, touched by the sacrifice's profundity. As the prince surrendered, a sacred transformation occurred. His act of total giving transcended physicality, touching existence's heart, where compassion's power alters even desperate circumstances. This sacrifice teaches that when love becomes utterly selfless, prioritizing others' welfare over survival, we touch enlightenment's essence, realizing illusory separation causing most suffering. The prince understood what seekers learn over lifetimes. The self we defend barriers true joy. Surrendering it reveals unity, where another's relief becomes our greatest fulfillment. In Buddhist context, this aligns with Bodhisattva vow, delaying nirvana to aid all, balancing self-understanding with universal compassion. The tigress story echoes four noble truths: suffering, universal dukkha, rooted in attachment, tanha, including to life, cessation through release, path via boundless love. It integrates middle way, neither cling to existence nor seek annihilation, but offer freely in wisdom's equilibrium. The act's radical nature challenges personal survival instinctive, yet the prince's joy in giving surpassed fear, showing compassion's fulfillment exceeds self-preservation. This dissolves non-self, anatta, illusion, no permanent I to lose, only interconnected web where one thread strengthening fortifies all. In application, while few face such extremes, daily parallels abound. Sacrifice time for a struggling friend without resentment. Donate resources to needy without attachment to thanks. Forgive deeply, releasing grudges that feed inner hunger. These offerings balance self-care with outward love, awakening understanding that giving liberates, giver most. Modern contexts amplify relevance. Consumer societies prioritize self-gain, breeding isolation like starving tigress, desperate yet alone. Sacrificial kindness rebuilds. Volunteer in crises. Advocate for oppressed. Share amid scarcity. Environmentally, sacrifice convenience for sustainability, recognizing planetary suffering as our own. In relationships, offer emotional support without expecting reciprocity, dissolving conflicts through empathy. This integrates awakening's balance. Like boy's gift softening Kasapa's austerity, tigress sacrifice balances discipline with heart's openness. 3 wishes. Inner wisdom over external fixes. Mirrors understanding sacrifices joy beyond gain. Lotus transmission. Wordless recognition of unity, as prince saw tigress's pain as his. Golden fish release. Compassion frees both, echoing bodily offering. Challenges in embodying. Fear of loss. Societal self-focus. Cultivate gradually. Meditate on interdependence. Visualize all beings as family, offering small sacrifices daily, noting a rising joy. Metta practice extends. May all beings be free from suffering, building capacity for selfless acts. Community fosters. Groups sharing sacrificial stories inspire, like disciples contemplating tigress tale, deepening collective compassion. Emotionally, counters greed, attachment. Craving self-protection fuels isolation. Sacrificial release brings profound peace, cooling cravings fires. Globally, amid divisions, wars, inequalities, leaders emulating Prince could heal, prioritizing collective welfare over power. Personally, in adversity, illness, loss view as call to compassionate action, sacrificing despair for service, finding meaning. In rest, Contemplate attachments sacrificing for others' good. Visualize tigress nourished, heart lightened. Sleep nurtures selfless love's seeds. The tigress sacrifice awakens. Compassion without limits dissolves self, revealing unity's bliss. Like princes offering transcending death, embrace selfless love, balance understanding with giving, enlightenment blooming in surrender's grace.